There's not much doubt that the three-year-old crop that we've seen in 1985-86 is one of the best we've seen for the last few years.
I've got absolutely no doubt about that, Bill. In fact, I would go so far as to say that it was probably the highest class three-year-old crop since 73-74, when we saw the likes of Imogil, Taj Rossi and Tontonen.
And the best filly of that year, of course, was Lalani. But this year's crop was really special. And Ian, we got a good look at one of the stars of the crop very early in the season at Rose Hill.
Indeed. The Sydney Turf Club and the Australian Jockey Club jointly conduct a spring Triple Crown for three-year-olds, which begins with the Group 2 Peter Pan Stakes over 1,500 metres at Rose Hill in late August. At this stage of the season, no one really has any idea as to the staying potential of the previous season's youngsters, and everyone is looking for the likely Derby favourites. In the Peter Pan Stakes, watch for a nasty scrimmage on the home turn in which the rider of Indian Raj in the Robert Sangster colours on the outside of the field is unseated.
On the outside is Jukebox, Jury Drawn, making a long run, and behind those Handy Proverb, and the rider's been tipped off Indian Raj. He's okay, I do believe, and as they straighten up for the run and come down past the 250, Roman Artist taken on by the Cowboy. Handy Proverb coming home solidly. It's Handy Proverb out after Roman Artist and the Cowboy. Handy Proverb is finishing brilliantly. It takes the lead from the Cowboy, and oh, gee whiz, this is a good horse. Handy Proverb, he's coming away. Handy Proverb,
with Handy Proverb having won so authoritatively at 1,500 metres, he was the logical favourite a fortnight later in the Group 2 Gloaming Stakes.
Arrested Acumen. Handy Proverb taken out into the middle of the track. He's coming home well, the favourite. Handy Proverb picking up Roman Artist, and the rider on Roman Artist. Logue's gone for the whip. Handy Proverb's got him covered, I reckon. A good go then between Fragilistic and the Cowboy for third, but Handy Proverb, he raced away, and he's got the Gloaming Stakes well won. It's Handy Proverb, 2.5 Roman Artist, the Cowboy, Fragilistic, but a breeze to Handy Proverb from Roman Artist, the Cowboy. And
with Handy Proverb having won the first two races so comfortably.
Of June, when most stayers in Australia and New Zealand come back into work, there's really only one race in the minds of most trainers, the Melbourne Cup. This year, with the advent of sponsorship from Foster's, those trainers had even more reason to want to win the big one at Flemington on the first Tuesday in November. Typically, most stayers being trained for a 3,200-metre race do not come into their own until the distances of their races increase. And one of the first reliable pointers to both the Caulfield and Melbourne Cups is the VATC Underwood Stakes, a Group 1 race run under weight-for-age conditions at Caulfield on September 26.
King Delamere is settled all right. Then Pliancy moving up on the outside from Importune, a length to Bounty Hawk, Astralin, Kiwi Slave, and then Jamaica in, followed by Colonial Flag and past the Baton. 1,000 out down the railway side, and still the leader not declared. 3 parts to Luther's Luck, a length and a half. Don Byrne, Tristark, he's niggling at it a little bit now. A length and a half then to King Delamere, joining Lack of Reason as the paces clapped on. Then a length and a half further back, Astralin. Bounty Hawk lost his place. Importune gone to the outside from Pliancy. Bounty Hawk going forward now. Then Kiwi Slave and Colonial Flag a long way out of it. 500 out on the corner. Luther's Luck, a join not declared. Tristark under the whip moving up to them, and a length and a half. Lack of Reason, he's making a run from King Delamere. They're followed by Importune and Bounty Hawk needing a run. Tristark took the lead into the straight, immediately tackled by Lack of Reason. King Delamere, Bounty Hawk's going well if he gets out. The leader Tristark from Lack of Reason. Bounty Hawk coming at them from Luther's Luck, but Tristark took the lead. Lack of Reason trying to get to him. Tristark just in front of Lack of Reason. Tristark the leader near the line, and it's going to win it by a half neck to Lack of Reason. 2 lengths away, King Delamere third.
Well, to be decided during the spring in Melbourne. The first of these is the Marlborough Cup, a race first instituted 10 years ago, and one which has been maintained by Marlborough despite its withdrawal from sponsorship in most other racing avenues. The Marlborough is a 1,400-metre handicap. This season, the favourite for the race was the Colin Hayes train, Delightful Bell.
Away they go. And they've jumped away pretty well, except Private Word, who took a while, and also Crime of Passion a little bit slow. Great battle early, and we saw Lockley's Tradition take up the early running from Wing Keel, and Tri-Shell moving around the outside to be third from Touch of Genius.
It's a marvellous thing, but if you can get a horse and you can keep their tempers down, well, it's a big help, and that's what helped
Star, Bogan Lord, Wise Call, King Phoenix pulled to the outside, but 12 off the lead, and then came Ben Farris. Mendira Etoile last around the corner. The leader's Touch of Genius, Lockley's Tradition from Wingfield, Tri-Shell the outside, Delightful Bell, and then Centauria. Tri-Shell got to the lead at the 300 from Lockley's Tradition, followed by Centauria and Delightful Bell. Then Wingfield further back, King Phoenix, but it's Tri-Shell in front as they get near the post, drawing away from Lockley's Tradition. And Tri-Shell goes on to win a length and a half. Lockley's Tradition, King Phoenix flew for third.
Tri-Shell, New Zealand's record-priced yearling at the 1984 Trentham Sales, is the third Group 1 winner of her Dam Tayona, a Sovereign Edition mare who has also produced champion Sovereign Red and the Caulfield and Melbourne Cups winner, Gurner's Lane.
Well, the George Main Stakes is a Group 1 race run over 1,600 metres at Randwick at weight for age, and the Australian Jockey Club are to be congratulated on revitalising this race in recent years. The George Main is now sponsored by Tui's and worth $100,000. You will recall earlier during our segment on the Colts Classics that the free-going Queensland colt Roman Artist had shown himself to be one of the best three-year-olds around, but simply...
And Row of Waves is last onto the side. They have 950 to go. The speed is muddling, and Roman Artist joined in front by Lord of Camelot. Kingdom Bay in the third position, followed by Castanelia. Riverdale is out in no man's land. Rising Prince is hugging the rails. And then comes Ring Through Indian Raj, followed by Row of Waves, Zephyr, and Prince Frolic drops out last. Past the 600 metres in the main stakes, and the pilot is still Roman Artist, three-quarters Lord of Camelot. In third position is Rising Prince, hooking around the two leaders' heels. A couple to Ring Through, and then Castanelia, Kingdom Bay, Riverdale very deep, and then Row of Waves. Up the rise in the stretch at the 300. Roman Artist just in front from Rising Prince, and between them Lord of Camelot, but Dittman's had to go for the weapon, Lord of Camelot. Roman Artist, the Queenslander, by golly, he's giving us sight, and Roman Artist kicks a length and a half, running on Kingdom Bay. Lord of Camelot can't go on, then Rising Prince and Riverdale, but it's Roman Artist. Roman Artist has beaten Kingdom Bay. I think Riverdale beat Rising Prince for third, then Castanelia.
A thoroughly deserved win for Roman Artist, who later...
Well, there was plenty of action in Melbourne after the running of the Group 2 Moonee Valley Stakes. The favourite for the race was the boom country galloper Campaign King, who had put together a sequence of 5 wins. But his racing had been restricted to sprinting distances, and he was an unknown quantity at 1,600 metres.
They were followed then over on the outside. Celustrious three deep on the rails. Black Charleston, a length and a half. Campaign King now called on. They're followed by Solar Aspect. Wellington Hammer around the outside at the head of the others. Acumen, Jackson Square, and French Cotton looked hopeless. Sinbad back at the rear with Dexterous. With 400 to go, Good Old Days in front with the challengers coming now from Black Charleston. And here's Campaign King around the outside. Campaign King's grabbed them and dashed to the lead. 300 out. Acumen starting to run on pretty well, and Wellington Hammer. It's Campaign King in front as they turn for home, but Acumen's coming at it quickly with Wellington Hammer out wide. Wellington Hammer and Acumen race to Campaign King, the three in line. Acumen, Wellington Hammer, the only filly put ahead in front. Acumen's drawn level again. Acumen under the whip just in front, and Acumen is just going to win the Moonee Valley Stakes.
Unfortunately, Acumen returned a swab positive to the drug caffeine after that race and was disqualified. Acumen's trainer, Jeff Murphy, contended someone had deliberately contaminated Acumen's feed, but that he had no idea who or why. Eventually, the Victoria Racing Club Committee opted for a hefty $5,000 fine for Murphy instead of suspending his licence. Melbourne provides a host of opportunities for good three-year-old fillies. One of the most important of these is the Group 2 Edward Manifold Stakes at Flemington.
They were followed by Pam Feel, a long gap of Grove, pulled out three deep on the track now. Is Mrs. Mannering four wide, making a run with Jewel in the Crown. Golden Twig and Tristabel held up from Wellington Hammer and twirled about 8 wide. Into the straights, Felt Princess led the challengers, coming first from Sudden, then Jewel in the Crown, Beach Gown, Mrs. Mannering. Twirled to the outside, Wellington Hammer with nowhere to go as Sudden sprinted away. Led 3 lengths at the 200 from Beach Gown, twirled down the outside with Mrs. Mannering, and Rebecca Gay coming from last. He went for the whip on Sudden. Gee, it's found something. It's 4 in front of Twirl with 200 to go. Out the outside, Rebecca Gay's gobbling them up now. Twirl and Rebecca Gay going after Sudden. Sudden in front, but they're going to grab it. Rebecca Gay will get it out wide. Rebecca Gay's won it. About a half length to Twirl or Sudden.
On the same day as the Edward Manifold, the AJC conducted its Flight Stakes, a race whose stature has lifted considerably in recent years, with a big cash injection and a lifting from Group 2 to Group 1 standing. This was to be an important race in assessing the prospects of Sydney fillies in Melbourne in the weeks to follow. So, Ian, let's hear your thoughts on the race.
Bill, leading up to the Flight Stakes, the fillies which stood out were Heat of the Moment, Shankill Lass and Shinakima, the T-Row Stakes winner. The fresh blood in the Flight Stakes came from the Queensland filly Tingo Tango, trained by Doug Bagur, who you will remember trained the great Strawberry Road.
A length La Panessa caught deep. Gippsland Fifiana the middle. Shankill Lass getting the run on the rails. A length to Normandy Bay and then to Truchka Dancehall Girl. Bluegrass Dancer taken to the outside and Tingo Tango. Now let's look for Tingo Tango waiting for the run, a little worse than midfield, but she's out into the open if good enough. They have 2.50 to go. Shinakima's gone to the lead. Here's Normandy Bay. Tingo Tango finishing on. So too Shankill Lass, followed then by La Panessa. It's Tingo Tango after Shinakima from Normandy Bay. Shankill Lass. Tingo Tango's taken the lead. Shankill Lass flying home with Normandy Bay, but Tingo Tango. Tingo Tango from a blanket finish. Shinakima, Normandy Bay.
Tingo Tango is the only stakes winner sired to date by the Patingo horse Tingo, a winner of 3 minor races in England.
It was only natural that he should be a short-priced favourite for the Group 1 AJC Spring Champion Stakes. But while Handy Proverb had been so dominant in the group races, TJ Smith had been winning a series of minor races with his well-bred Imperial Prince colt Easter. Unfortunately, the Spring Champion Stakes developed into a real jostling match over the last 600 metres, with Handy Proverb looking particularly unlucky.
Over the crossing at the 900 metres, and the leader is Bill Bangara by a length and a half. Second Posse the Cowboy, third Trismo on the outside. One further back is Indian Raj, being pushed along now from Splendid Speed. Racing in the middle is Tierra Wrist and Handy Proverb, 3 deep. A length to Tristram's Edition, Easter, then Fragilistic. 2 further away is Copper Wing, Dream Lodge. Hello, Bill Bangara's run off the track. It's speared to the outside fence and dislodged the jockey, a sensation. As they turn around the corner, Indian Raj has taken the lead. Dream Lodge copped the buff on the home corner. Tristram's Edition comes into it. Now let's look for Handy Proverb. It's 4th last as they charge to the 200 metres and Indian Raj in front. Dream Lodge. Here's Easter coming down the outside and Handy Proverb again picking up the bit. Indian Raj taken on by Easter and Dream Lodge. Handy Proverb winding up. Here's a finish. Dream Lodge after Indian Raj. Easter on the outside grabs them and Easter's one at the nose. I reckon Easter's one of
the Spring Champion Stakes was the 3rd win from 5 outings for the season for Easter, a son of the New Haven Park stallion Imperial Prince. Easter is from the former record-priced filly Honey Queen, a sister to stakes winners Monarchia and Awesome, and a 3/4 sister to New Zealand Derby winner Mansing. Easter was bred, trained and part-owned by TJ Smith.
Bill, I might point out that although Handy Proverb would have proved something of a washout as a guide to the $200,000 Epsom Handicap, the Epsom is traditionally one of the most difficult races of the year to assess, and the 1985 running was no exception.
The pacer cracker on the first corner, Vari's Ace, 2 Rising Prince going up to second. A length of Magnitude around Swiftly Roman, then Regal Value, followed by Royal Grid Castanelia. 1 then to Colour Page off the track, Lord of Camelot with Row of Waves, Double Dandy midfield, then Shifnal Prince, 2 to Prince Frolic inside, Lord Balliner. 1 So Tip, and then comes on the outside Petrus, a length to Kelly's Pool, followed by Greatness. Dinky Flyer second last, and Fox Seal tails the Epsom field at the 600. And Vari's Ace, a length and a half on Rising Prince. 3rd position, Swiftly Roman, travelling on the inside of Magnitude, a length to Castanelia, locked away from Regal Value. Royal Grid on the outside, Colour Page to the outer, Double Dandy going up on the inside. Then Lord of Camelot and Shifnal Prince, and behind them Prince Frolic. Rising Prince takes the lead now, coming past the 250. Magnitude after it from Vari's Ace, Swiftly Roman. Castanelia getting out behind those. Royal Grid, Double Dandy is tightened up, and then Lloyd on the outside, Colour Page, but Magnitude has raced to the lead. Colour Page finishing on with Double Dandy, but it's Magnitude's Epsom. Magnitude from Colour Page and Rising Prince. What a finish. Then Double Dandy.
What a magnificent return to the big time for former Premier Sydney rider Malcolm Johnston. Magnitude is trained in New Zealand by Margaret Bald, who also trained Lacquer Reason, winner of the Turnbull Stakes at Flemington the same afternoon. Again, a resounding success, and as far as the Caulfield and Melbourne Cups were concerned, the race everyone was watching was the AJC Metropolitan Handicap. This year, it was a thoroughly absorbing affair, with Hay, winner of the previous 2 Metropolitans, the sentimental favourite. However, most of the big money was for the imported stayer Night Eye, a member of the Neville Begg stable, and he was sent out the public elect at 4 to 1.
Out to fourth is We Own a Devil. A length and a night high, followed by Just for Tristram, and then comes on the outside Very Deep Social Cream ahead of Silver Award, Ryan Guard, Hi taking off. Then comes Cheer Charlie and Mint Master locked away over Sprightly Native. One further back is Sean Avon, and very, very wide is Expert. Fox Seal starting to make a run, and Lagana's dropped out to Stone Motherless as they turn the corner, and it's Mr. Mako. First around the turn in the Metrop, 2 Bastille and We Own a Devil, followed by Hi who's coming into the picture, and likewise Sprightly Native, and back behind that group of horses, Fox Seal at the 200. Mr. Mako getting tired. Here's Sprightly Native. Sprightly Native descending upon Mr. Mako. Hi won't go on, then Fox Seal. It's Sprightly Native on the outside taking the clear-cut lead, and Sprightly Native in front, and Sprightly Native wins the Metropolitan from a very tight finish. Mr. Mako, Fox Seal and
Sprightly Native is the first stakes winner in Australia by the Northern Dancer stallion Yalla Native, who stands at Sedge and Host
of the New Zealand races in the Australasian racing year. And this event, the Winstone Guineas at Ellerslie, features some of the best 3-year-olds from New Zealand for the whole season. In this, we get to see the sensational colt Avon's Lord, who unfortunately broke down later in the spring, as well as the champion Bone Crusher and the Oaks winner My Tristram's Bell.
Avon's Lord, the favourite. He's about a half length on a bright. Bone Crusher 2 away. Dollar Sterling angling off the rail. Avon's Lord at the 300 metres. He's kicking clear a length and a half on a bright. Here's Bone Crusher coming at them late. Avon's Lord in front. Bone Crusher being kicked along on a bright, and Dollar Sterling trying after the leader Avon's Lord, but he's good. He's kicked clear about 2.5 lengths with 100 to go. Bone Crusher trying to close on him. Avon's Lord kept going by Brian York, and he's won it easily. Bone Crusher second on a bright. Or Dollar Sterling, I think, third from on
The Winston Guineas was the 6th win from 8 starts for the season for Avon's Lord. After that great...
One of the most important races for 3-year-olds on the Australian calendar is the Group 1 Caulfield Guineas. Jeff Murphy had won the race 4 times and was confident of making it number 5 with acumen. After galloping in spectacular fashion at Caulfield on the Tuesday before the race, Murphy declared acumen unbeatable.
And they've jumped away. Flyer jumped away today, and over near the inside, Reputed began well with Roman Artist there in front from No Parole, Rhoda Rouge. Then Formal Address, Asher Star from Red Opaque, Shank Hill Lass, and then Flyer around the outside from Seeger. Next Palatinsky, and they were followed by View, 2 lengths to Acumen, and then Black Charleston. A length or so further back in the field, then at the head of the others would be Caledonia up in that bunch of horses, and Flyer 3 deep, 2 lengths to Formal Address. Then came No Parole, tucked over on the inside of those horses, a length and a half further back, Shankill Lass and View with them, Seeger the outside. They're followed by Palatinsky, and further back is Acumen being niggled at. Caledonian Boy trying to get a run up from Red Opaque at the head of the others, and further back Black Charleston, and Drawn is back second last. On the turn, 500 out, Roman Artist inclined to hang a little bit, a half length to Asher Star, Rhoda Rouge, Flyer. They were followed further back in the field, No Parole, Asher Star, and then Palatinsky, and wider out there's Seeger and Acumen. The leader, Roman Artist, into the straight kick, 2 lengths in front of Rhoda Rouge, and they were followed by, coming down the outside, Palatinsky with a strong run, and then coming with a good run also is Acumen out wider on the outside, and coming at them quickly now is Drawn. Drawn's picking them up with Rasworth on the inside, Shankill Lass, and Drawn's going to win. Drawn's 1.5 head Shankill.
It was certainly a super win by the Sydney colt Drawn, who was easily the smallest and least impressive looking horse in the mounting yard. Tackle the other rich Melbourne mile event, the Elders Mile at Caulfield on Guineas Day.
From Kingdom Bay, and further back Fine Offer, King Phoenix and Delightful Bell not going well last. Past the 800 now, and Lockley's Tradition taken on by Great Poet, and they're 2 lengths to Shifnal Prince, and Ivana the outside moving up stylishly. 2 to Try Shell, and there followed then further back Lord Bell and a wise call, King Phoenix to the outside from Kingdom Bay, and now Delightful Bell starting to warm up. On the corner, Lockley's Tradition tackled on the outside by Great Poet. Wider out, Shifnal Prince getting the split, coming at them. Ivana's gone from Wise Call, and then King Phoenix. Shifnal Prince got to the lead at the 200. King Phoenix out after it on the outside from Lockley's Tradition. Shifnal Prince in front. King Phoenix tackles it strongly. King Phoenix coming home the better, and King Phoenix is going to win the Elders. A length to Shifnal Prince, third Wise Call.
King Phoenix is one of the country's best big occasion gallopers, having already proved himself in 1984 by winning the Marlborough Cup. He's the son of Armintor, who now stands in Victoria at Craigie Lee's
3-day Caulfield Cup Carnival. Opening day is Guineas Day, and on this programme there are 2 races which have a special bearing on the Caulfield Cup, which is decided the following week. One is the weight for age Caulfield Stakes. Betting on the race featured a mammoth plunge on the Sydney galloper Riverdale. But watch closely at the start as a fortune in bets goes down the drain in less than a second.
Oh, get up there, and when they jumped away, there's one lost its rider just after the start. I think it's Riverdale. It is Riverdale's lost his rider as they jumped out. Length and a half XZ tacked in on the rails from So Vague. A length and a half King Delamere going well but needing a run. Lack of Reason moving around them 3 deep, and Black Knight is in the centre. A length further back is Tristark going forward from the Filbert. Then what a
she got a lovely run through the field. Come to the outside and around about the 700 metre mark, and I think she sort of got on level terms just before the turn, and she come away again at the finish and won probably just impressive than what she won the Underwood in.
300 to go now, and the leader on the inside is Sir Zephyr. Lack of Reason coming at him, then Tristark. Exits at the rails from Lord of Camelot. Black Knight and wider out, what a nuisance. Lack of Reason and Tristark race to the leader, 100 to go. The Filbert running on, but Tristark has sprinted away, and Tristark a brilliant win in the stakes. A length and a half, Lack of Reason, the Filbert third from Sir Zephyr.
The other important race from a Caulfield Cup viewpoint is the Herbert Power Handicap, run over the Caulfield Cup course of 2,400 metres. This Group 2 event is one of the last chances for horses to qualify for the Foster's Caulfield Cup, and it featured the first Melbourne appearance of the Sydney Cup winner Late Show and the capable Adelaide stayer Feeder Awar.
Beatrice Levant, Rose and Thistle just the leader from Feeder Awar, many lengths in front of Colonial Flag and Martian Sun. Rose and Thistle in front. On the inside, Feeder Awar coming at it again. Rose and Thistle, Feeder Awar going better, and Feeder Awar's won it about a head to Rose and Thistle.
History shows that the Foster's Caulfield Cup is an ideal race for 4-year-olds, and in modern times, 4-year-old mares in particular have had an outstanding record. The wait for age form is usually the key to finding the Caulfield Cup winner, and on this count, Tristark stood out. She was sensationally backed to equal favouritism at 5 to 1, while the other best-backed runner was the George Hanlon-trained Our Sophia, who was generally regarded as unlucky when second to Lack of Reason in the Group 2 Turnbull Stakes at Flemington a fortnight earlier.
Away they go. Caught them well too. And Handy Proverb began well over on the inside with the Filbert, and Rising Prince from Sir Zephyr followed then on the outside of those horses by King Delamere. Bellyman's Boy racing towards the lead with Feeder Awar, and they were followed then by Importune. On the outside, Eastern Temple from Silver Award, and then came Riverdale. On the outside is now Acumen and Lack of Reason, followed by Our Sophia. Easter's gone very wide as they swing towards the turn out of the straight. Back behind them, Bounty Hawk, Mapley Heights and Tristark. The 1500, there's not a lot of pace on, and Rising Prince 2 lengths in front of Feeder Awar. Handy Proverb a half length away on the rails, third from the Filbert. Riverdale making ground 3 deep around the outside of that bunch from Bellyman's Boy. Then King Delamere a length away from Sir Zephyr, Lack of Reason, Eastern Temple, and then Importune. They're followed by Silver Award, Our Sophia a length to Acumen, a length and a half further back is Easter. Then Bounty Hawk, Tristark second last, and last Mapley Heights. 1,000 to go, and the leader still
settled straight away and got back a little further than what I wanted to get, but she wasn't in any of the trouble. And when she did get a run at the 5 there, she's come from probably second last and had a lovely run through and sprinted probably just as quick as what she's ever sprinted with.
Tristark commencing a run from Lack of Reason, and then Silver Award further back in the field. Next, Bounty Hawk, Mapley Heights, Eastern Temple back at the rear with Easter. 600 to go on the corner. There's a great battle, about 4 in line. Acumen went up on the outside to join Riverdale, Rising Prince and Feeder Awar. Handy Proverb badly needing a run. Here's Tristark round the outside. Our Sophia following it into the straight. It's a great battle here. Tristark loomed up to join the leaders. Rising Prince and Tristark together now. They're followed by Lack of Reason and Our Sophia. Halfway down the straight, Tristark is the leader. The Filbert getting out late. Tristark in front from Lack of Reason and Our Sophia and the Filbert. Tristark the leader, Our Sophia grabbing it on the line, but Tristark won it a neck to Our Sophia, Lack of Reason third.
The Foster's Caulfield Cup was one of 4 Group 1 races won by Tristark during the 85-86 season, bringing her career total to 5. Tristark is by the all-conquering Sir Tristram from the Arctic Explorer mare Renark, a well-bred mare from the immediate family of VRC Oaks winner Sonderay. The mare was ridden in all her Group 1 victories by former champion apprentice Wayne Shalaw.
Doug Bagua elected not to bring Tingo Tango to Melbourne, but Shankhill Lass, Heat of the Moment, Travel Light and Shinakima all ventured south for the principal fillies classics. Their first meeting was in the Group 1 1,000 Guineas at Caulfield on October 19, in which they clashed with Rebecca Gay and Twirled, the first two home in the Manifold Stakes at Flemington. Shankhill Lass had the benefit of some track experience at Caulfield the week before the 1,000 Guineas, running second to the top colt drawn in the Caulfield Guineas.
They're racing. Honeybridge away well from Rebecca Gay, and jumping away fairly Cena. Twirl got away nicely, and they were followed then by Shanakima going fast. Over on the outside, Sweet Dream Lady heading them all off as they settle down. They were followed then back behind them, Shankhill Lass, and they were followed by Canny Lass, Rebecca Field. Going to the 1100, Sweet Dream Lady going like the wind by 2 lengths at this stage. Had a nice break from Apple Valley down the side. 2.5 lengths, Golden Twig. Shanakima hard ridden next to 1.5 lengths, Twirled, and then Honeybridge, Shankhill Lass going around them 4 deep. Sudden following it from Cena, and then Canny Lass, Tristabel, Rebecca Gay, Wellington Hammer. They were followed 2 lengths further back in the field then by Travel Light and Heat of the Moment. They're a mile out of it. Then Pam Field followed by Tonefield second last and Mrs Mannering last. On the turn, 500 out, Sweet Dream Lady in front, the leaders are stopping. Only a length Apple Valley, 1.5 lengths Shankhill Lass, who's done it hard but moved up third from Sudden. Then Tristabel, Twirl looking for the way out from Golden Twig, and then Rebecca Gay, Canny Lass on the outside, Tone Phil. In the straight, Shankhill Lass got to the lead now from Apple Valley. On the inside of those then came Sweet Dream Lady, Tone Phil and Twirl putting in their runs, but Shankhill Lass has broken clear. Rebecca Gay coming with a late run on the outside with Heat of the Moment, but Shankhill Lass clear near the line. Heat of the Moment flying but won't make it, and Shankhill Lass wins it and next to Heat of the Moment.
Shankhill Lass is a half-sister to the former top filly Volley Dream, who ran second in the 1981 running of the 1,000 Guineas.
The highly successful 3 days at Caulfield, the Spring Carnival spotlight switches to Moonee Valley, where the club proudly hosts its annual Race of the Champions, the Weight for Age WS Cox Plate. This year's Cox Plate was probably as open as any in recent times. The heavily backed Rising Prince firmed to start as one of the best backed runners at 7-1. Bookmakers also held a fortune in bets on the Les Bridge trained 3-year-old Drawn, who, as we will see later, had captured the Caulfield Guineas in brilliant fashion 2 weeks earlier.
They're racing. King Phoenix away well with Rising Prince, the Filbert, and Delightful Bell, Kingdom Bay. Out wide, a Roman Artist is racing quickly to the lead, and it's going to be in front out wide on the track when they settle down. Hay is back near the rear with Riverdale and Fox Seal. Roman Artist led out of the straight, 1.5 lengths, Rising Prince fighting for his head from Acumen, Delightful Bell. King Phoenix about 5th on the inside. He's a cracker at the 1,400. Roman Artist 2 lengths to Rising Prince, 5 lengths to Acumen 3rd. A length to Kingdom Bay in the outside from Delightful Bell. A length further back then came the Filbert and Drawn. 2 lengths to King Phoenix, and they're followed by Importune, Centauria. Next is Fox Seal, Spirit of Kingston. 3 lengths to Hay, and last in the field, Riverdale. 1,200 to go, Roman. A length to Fox Seal, Spirit of Kingston. Riverdale pulled to the outside, and Hay whipped them in. 800 to go, and the leader, Roman Artist, 2 lengths to in second position, still Rising Prince, a half Kingdom Bay. 1 to Acumen taken to the outside, Delightful Bell, and the Filbert getting up on the inside is next from Drawn. Centauria taken to the outside, King Phoenix is under the whip, then Spirit of Kingston and Hay from Fox Seal. 400 out, Roman Artist, a half length, Rising Prince challenging from Kingdom Bay, 3 deep and 4 deep, Centauria. Drawn trying to get a run in the centre with the Filbert, and then Acumen and King Phoenix struggling from Delightful Bell. Rising Prince took the lead from Roman Artist on the corner. Drawn is getting out after them now from the Filbert. The others can't win. Rising Prince took the lead in the straight from Roman Artist. Drawn 2 lengths away under the whip. I think Rising Prince has got away from them. 2 in front. He looks the winner. In second place, Roman Artist, followed by Drawn and the Filbert, but Rising Prince is going to canter in. Wins by 3 lengths to Roman Artist. Drawn is third, ahead to the Filbert.
The Cox Plate was the 12th win from a career total of 41 starts for Rising Prince, who was bred at Rocklear Stud, Bathurst, New South Wales by Mrs Violet Stein. The gelding was trained throughout his career by Mrs Stein's daughter-in-law Deirdre, and ridden in all his feature wins by former Premier Sydney jockey Kevin Langby.
The most important 2-year-old race of the spring, and the one which virtually decides which is the best 2-year-old in the first half of the season, is the Group 2 Maribyrnong Plate, run at Flemington on Derby Day. This year, the Maribyrnong Plate looks to have unveiled another top liner.
500 to go. Redelva led Inertia the inside. 3 out, Indeed I Do. She Flies 4 out from Lord Mornington. Raymond Laurel's run into a dead end from Serendipity and Crescent. 300 to go. Indeed I Do's under pressure. She Flies and Lord Mornington are drawn level. Raymond Laurel's got the split and then Serendipity, but Lord Mornington's putting a space in them. Dash 2 lengths in front of Raymond Laurel with 150 to go, and She Flies. And all boys a different 2-year-old today at Flemington. Wins by 2.5 to Raymond Laurel.
Lord Mornington raced only 3 times for the season for 2 wins. A chipped sesamoid bone meant he did not reappear.
After the 1,000 Guineas, most people were of the opinion that the Neville Beg-trained filly, Heat of the Moment, should have beaten Shankhill-Lass. They were given the chance to have their judgment vindicated when the filly next stepped out in the Group 2 Wakeful Stakes at Flemington on Derby Day.
Second last. Shinnakima at the 300. Tonefield trying to get to it. Travel Light trying to get through from Golden Twig. Out wide, Heat of the Moment starting to fly from Dolchester. Rebecca Gay can't win, but Heat of the Moment can. She's taken the lead. Beg's got a chance to get the Quinella. Shinnakima second from Travel Light, but Heat of the Moment sprints away to win the Wakefield. A length Shinnakima, third Travel Light.
Guineas winner. Derby Day at Flemington is arguably the finest day's racing in Australasia, and this year it was indeed champagne racing. The Derby itself was a wide-open affair, with the main chances being the Sydney filly, Born to be Queen, the outstanding colt, Handy Proverb, and the Tommy Smith-trained Easter. $300,000 was the prize for the best staying 3-year-olds of Australasia in the state's oldest race, the Group 1 Victoria Derby.
Away they go, unquestioned, missed it by a length. Over on the outside, Easter's got away very well, and nearer the rails, Wise Decision in front early from Dexterous, Splendid Speed and Acumen. Working across now towards them as they settle down is Southampton going up towards the lead with Solar Aspect. 700 to go near the turn, and Solar Aspect went up on the outside to join Wise Decision. 2 lengths to Acumen. He's had the run of the race, and they were followed then.
He had a good run in transit, and when he improved sort of within the half mile, he sort of got a good run up and ended up with a good split inside the 300, and he raced up outside Acumen and really showed his true class to settle down to get away and win by a good length.
The leaders, Acumen dashed to the lead with 200 to go from Sir Lustrious, and Handy Proverb getting clear. Born to be Queen and Easter. Acumen drew clear at the 200. Handy Proverb pegging him back. It's Acumen, Handy Proverb from Born to be Queen. Acumen and Handy Proverb go to the post together. Handy Proverb's doing best and wins the Derby. 3/4 of a length to Acumen, 2 lengths to Born to be Queen, third.
The Derby win was the first in Victoria for leading Sydney trainer Brian Mayfield-Smith, but winning jockey Jim Cassidy was no stranger to headquarters, having captured the 1983 Melbourne Cup on Kiwi. Handy Proverb is by Twig Moss, the leading sire in Australia for the season, and was bred in South Australia by Dibden Park Stud.
Proved to be a fairly even collection, with the 3-year-olds repeatedly showing they were just as good, if not better, than the older performers. After an excellent performance in running just behind the place-getters in the Weight for Age Moyer Stakes, the well-performed Lord Ballina was set for the Gadsden Sprint at Flemington on Derby Day.
On, gates crash open, away they go. Base Fee looks like she might come over, though Wingkill got away well. Aqualone has come to the outside with Ruby Azar. Or they want to go to the fence. Wingkill wants to go to the outside, nearly crashed into one another. Base Fee forced back to the fence, and now Ruby Azar's left on her own out there. Ramify going fast with Peach Choice, Touch of Genius. Aqualone from barrier 17 up with them. Behind those horses, Yasuk, Lord Galaxy up nice and close with finely tuned New Atlantis about 10th early with a wall of horses in front of him. Richfield's Lad behind him. Further back, Barnstorming, Base Fee. Well out of it, Lord Ballina with Try Shell, and also behind them, Bullion Breaker, Wing Kill, and on her own, Ruby Azar. 500 out, Touch of Genius just led Peach Choice. Aqualone going very well. 2 lengths to Slick Draw. Lord Galaxy being wound up. New Atlantis with a mighty run. Then Yasuk out wide of Lord Ballina. Further out on the track, Richfield's Lad and Ruby Azar down the outside with 300 to go. New Atlantis burst to the lead, but Lord Ballina's challenging quickly. Behind them, Aqualone from Richfield's Lad. Lord Ballina's going home too well. He drew level with New Atlantis, and Lord Ballina's going to be too good. 3/4 of a length, New Atlantis. Bullion.
The Gadsden was the second Group 1 victory for Lord Ballina. The win also completed a unique family double, as Lord Ballina's half-brother, Zegna, had won the Gadsden when known as the Pure Pack Stakes back in 1981. Later in the year, Lord Ballina's plate meeting, the Melbourne Cup campaign for the majority of horses moves into its final stage. For most, their final lead-up race is at Flemington on Derby Day, just 3 days before Australia's greatest race. The Wait for Age LKS McKinnon Stakes has been an historic Melbourne Cup pointer over the years, and this year carried even greater significance as it boasted the presence of the Cox Plate winner Rising Prince. While Rising Prince confirmed the Cox Plate form in no uncertain fashion, keep your eye on the horses making ground just behind the place getters.
He's getting into the leader now. Lack of Reason moving up on the inside of So Vague, and then followed Greatness. Rising Prince in front. He's gone for the whip at the 300, but he's still 3 lengths in front of So Vague. Then came Ivana, Lack of Reason and the Filbert, but Rising Prince holding them safely at bay. So Vague trying hard, but Rising Prince, he's run them off their legs and he's bolted in. Rising Prince goes on to win by 2 lengths to So Vague. The Filbert got up for third.
The other significant Melbourne Cup trial is the Dalgety, run over 2,500 metres on Derby Day. As usual, it was a particularly interesting race. The favourite was the John Gaffney trained Tripsicum, with the 1984 Melbourne Cup winner Black Knight the best back to beat him.
Buoyant Wholesome. On the corner, they're packing up a bit at the 600. Our Boyfriend a length and a half still to British. They're followed a length away by Silver Award. Behind those horses then Night Eye racing round the outside, and Under Oath getting a split goes towards the leaders. They're followed by Irish Lord, and further back again in the field Peckham a guess. Then Mr. Jazz and Black Knight at the head of the others, but they've got to get Our Boyfriend. Led a length and a half at the 200 from Under Oath under the whip Silver Award. Here's Fox Eel emerging from the ruck now. Black Knight running on only fairly. Silver Award the tackler to Our Boyfriend from Under Oath, and then Tripsicum on the fence from Fox Eel. Our Boyfriend in front, Silver Award getting to it near the line. Our Boyfriend, Silver Award are going to hit it together, and they hit it, and oh, it's a bobber, Silver Award, I reckon. A nose to Our Boyfriend, 3 lengths to Under Oath.
Melbourne had enjoyed magnificent weather throughout the spring carnival, but on Cup Eve, the heavens opened and Flemington was doused with 15 millimetres of rain. Naturally, the rain was the answer to the prayers of many trainers and the realisation of a nightmare for others. Betting on the Melbourne Cup was, as always, fast and furious, with an estimated $65 million bet on the race throughout Australia. A huge plunge was launched on the Caulfield Cup runner-up Our Sophia, to be ridden by Melbourne Cup specialist Harry White. The Victoria Racing Club was fortunate in attracting all the best stayers in training. The New Zealand invasion was on again. All the major lead-up winners were there. And although conditions were wet underfoot, over 77,000 racegoers flocked to Flemington to watch the first $1 million race ever run outside America, the 1985 Foster's Melbourne Cup.
Feeder away well with Under Oath and Tristark. Black Knight ridden hard early to hold a position from Fox Eel. Rising Prince easing over towards the lead with Butternut, and they were followed wider out on the track. Our Boyfriend looking for the lead with Coiro Corrie May. Back behind them, Dusky Legend, Lack of Reason the outside from Our Sophia, and then came Sir Zephyr. Mapley Heights back behind them again, and they were followed then by Hay. Kiwi is third last, and Late Show second last. I'm a Prince at the rear. At the 400 the first time, Our Boyfriend in front, a length and a half. Butternut, Langley by Sprightly Native, Late Show, and 3 lengths to Kiwi last. 1,100 to go in the Cup. The leader, Our Boyfriend, 1 length to Rising Prince, a length and a half, Coiro, Corrie May and Butternut. 2 lengths to Lack of Reason on the outside of Feeder Away. 1 to Black Knight getting forward from Sir Zephyr. On the outside, Under Oath, a length to Tristark, looking for a run from Silver Award, Dusky Legend. Then Tripsicum, Our Sophia still back about 17th, and Kiwi 2 lengths last with Late Show in front of it. On the turn, 6.50 to go. Our Boyfriend, a length, Rising Prince. 1 away came Butternut, Coiro, Corrie May from Lack of Reason, Under Oath. Then Dusky Legend to the outside. Tristark trying to get a run. Black Knight badly squeezed up, and Kiwi going to the inside. In the straight, Our Boyfriend, the leader. Rising Prince is gone. Our Boyfriend kicked 2 in front of Butternut, Coiro, Corrie May. Feeder Away's running on, and what a nuisance. Getting out with a good run. Tripsicum is coming home well on the outside. Tristark is next. Our Sophia a long way back with Kiwi on the rails. 200 to go, and Butternut and Coiro Corrie May got to Our Boyfriend. What a nuisance coming at them. Here's Tripsicum with a late run, but might be too late. What a nuisance, and Coiro Corrie May. They hit it together. What a nuisance, won the Cup. A nose to Coiro Corrie May. I think Tripsicum might have got third in front of Feeder Away. Kiwi on the rails. 200 to go, and Butternut and Coiro Corrie May got to Our Boyfriend. What a nuisance coming at them. Here's Tripsicum with a late run, but might be too late. What a nuisance, and Coiro Corrie May. They hit it together. What a nuisance, won the Cup. A nose to Coiro Corrie-May. I think Tripsinger might have got third in front of Feeder Awar.
What a new...
For Highland, a magic moment. He'd come back from an almost crippling race fall some 12 months earlier to win the race on a broken-down horse for his long-time friend, owner Lloyd Williams.
From Feeder Awar, what a nuisance goes to Coiro Corrie-May. Coiro Corrie-May, and what a nuisance wins the fastest Melbourne Cup. A nose to Coiro Corrie-May. Third and flash.
Feeder Awar.
What a nuisance is anything but a pedigree buff's delight. He is by the deceased St. Parkle, best remembered as the sire of Sydney Cup winner Upik. The Cup winner's female pedigree bears no discussion at all, as he's the only winner of his dam, Fashion Belle. What a Nuisance is owned by Mr. and Mrs. Lloyd Williams and Mr. Dennis Gowing, trained by John Marr, and was superbly ridden by the respected Melbourne jockey, Pat Hyland.
In the second half of Cup week was very soggy indeed. Although conditions were only slow on Cup day, they'd deteriorated to become heavy 2 days later for the big VRC Oaks meeting. The favourite was Born to be Queen, one of 3 runners in the race prepared by Neville Begg. Born to be Queen had beaten the Colts in the Norman Robinson Stakes at Caulfield and then won the Oaks Trial Stakes at Geelong in hollow fashion before running a fine third to Handy Proverb in the Derby. The query horse of the field was My Tristram's Bell, a Sir Tristram filly prepared by the astute New Zealand trainer Ellen Jones.
Now, racing, away they go. Born to be Queen away well. Shinakima ridden out with the whip on the inside. Does he realise he's got another lap to go? It leads settling down from Dol Cesar and Valley Grove. Mrs. Mannering next from English Mint Trap, Canny Lass heat of the moment, and Rainfast is last. On the turn, 600 out. Shinakima tackled by English Mint, Valley Grove, Rainfast 6 deep. In the centre, Dol Cesar coming at them as they head to the outside. Then My Tristram's Bell, Shank Hill Lass running on. A good gap further back, Born to be Queen and Travel Light. Canny Lass dropping out of it from heat of the moment. Dol Cesar swept to the lead, 300 to go. From Valley Grove and My Tristram's Bell, the inside, Rainfast, and then English Mint, Shank Hill Lass and Born to be Queen running home now. Dol Cesar joined by My Tristram's Bell. My Tristram's Bell has sprinted to the lead on the inside, full of running, racing away from Dol Cesar. Born to be Queen running home well now, but My Tristram's Bell will win by 5 lengths. Going to be close for the Miners. Born to be Queen out wide, will get up and run second. Third placing Dol Cesar.
My Tristram's Bell was selected by Singapore trainer Ivan Allen for $250,000 at Trentham in 1984. Her sire is, of course, unfortunately detracted to a large extent from the 1985 Ampol Stakes. Big local and interstate punters, who'd had much the worst of the battle with bookmakers over the 4 days of the meeting, decided Magnitude, with Brent Thompson replacing the suspended Malcolm Johnston, was capable of recapturing his Epsom handicap form and sent him out favourite.
5 lengths when they sprinted. From Magnitude, who's fourth, and they're followed by Lockley's Tradition, Lord Ballina. Go Robbo wide, Kingdom Bay sticking to the fence, and King Phoenix last. Wise Call joined by Dazzling Duke and Mrs. Fitzherbert in the straight. 3 lengths in front of Kingdom Bay over on the rails. Lord Ballina starting to come home. King Phoenix trying to thread his way through as Mrs. Fitzherbert took the lead from Dazzling Duke. Lord Ballina next out wide from Kingdom Bay, but it's Mrs. Fitzherbert in front. Dazzling Duke matching it, comes at it, 100 to go, and they're together. From Lord Ballina, Dazzling Duke, Mrs. Fitzherbert. Dazzling Duke's going home the better, and Dazzling Duke ahead in front. Mrs. Fitzherbert comes again. Dazzling Duke won it. Ahead to Mrs. Fitzherbert, Lord Ballina.
The Ampol victory brought Dazzling Duke's record to 10 wins and 10 minor placings from only 27 starts. This grandson of Champion Vane is trained by Alan Curtis at Albury in New South Wales. To jockey Mick Dittman, Shankhill Lass didn't go a yard in the heavy ground at Flemington. Just 9 days later in the Group 2 Sandown Guineas, the Starway filly was given the opportunity to show her true colours again.
4 lengths to Prince Gaylord. Pelatinsky starting to run on pretty well. Then Shankhill Lass at the head of the others from Sars Boris, but Roman Artist broke clear. 2 in front at the 200 from Pelatinsky, and Shankhill Lass down the outside. Roman Artist clear. He's stopping a little bit. He's still 2 in front of Shankhill Lass, grabbing him quickly. Roman Artist going up and down in the one place, and Shankhill Lass is going to get up and grab it on the line. Shankhill Lass a neck to Roman Artist. Pelatinsky third.
While the fillies in Australia were a high-class lot but fairly even, the club's summer carnival gets underway a fortnight after the Victoria Derby, with the running of the Group 1 West Australian Derby over 2,400 metres at Ascot. The Derby, and most of the rich races in the West for that matter, have been preyed upon for years by Eastern States horses, but this year the Westerners had one good enough to keep the money at home. His name, Rant and Rave.
Red and Rave poised to pounce now from I'm in Luck. Then came Southampton, Master Eclipse 3 wide. Tudor just begun from Sinbad, King Matthias, Star Joe, Dream Lodge and Irish Armour. 400 out into the straight now. Special welcome about to be joined by Bilbangira. Red and Rave hot on the heels running third, and here he comes, Red and Rave. He's after Bilbangira from Scarbilla. Then special welcome followed by Royal Scribe, I'm in Luck and Master Eclipse. 150 to go, Bilbangira, Red and Rave. Red and Rave, the outsiders, put his head in front of Bilbangira. Just begun, goes to third. Red and Rave, Bilbangira. Red and Rave, and nose in front of Red and Rave has won by a half a head over Bilbangira. Just begun third.
After the West Australian Derby, owner Laurie Connell and trainer Buster O'Malley set Rant and Rave for the richest weight-for-age race in the West, the Rothwells. This event is sponsored by Connell's Merchant Bank, and naturally the big betting owner had a burning desire to win the race he sponsors.
Over Red and Rave, Tudor hanging in, followed by Rare Flyer. Around the outside, Importune, followed by So Vague at the 250, and Red and Rave has gone up and headed off Oliad. 2.5 to Rare Flyer, Importune the outside from So Vague, but it's Red and Rave in front. Rare Flyer's coming home well, and outside Importune, but it's Red and Rave's Rothwells. Red and Rave won the day a length over Rare Flyer. Oliad may be held on for third.
Rant and Rave raced consistently throughout the season, and in the autumn proved himself to be one of the best colts of his generation with some outstanding performances in Sydney. Rave unfortunately broke down on the eve of the AJC Derby. After winning the West Australian Derby and the Rothwells so brilliantly, Rant and Rave was naturally a short-priced favourite to take out the $300,000 Channel 7 Australian Derby at Ascot on Boxing Day. When the Queensland colt Roman Artist was withdrawn on veterinary advice, betting on the Derby ground to a standstill, with Rant and Rave odds-on favourite.
His way towards the leaders. On the rails to Bilbangira from I'm in Luck and Galway Union, Dream Lodge, followed by Down. Red and Rave has got a beautiful run up on the inside. At the 2, at the 450, and Red and Rave with the rails runners gone to the lead. Over Eastern Flight, Mystic Monarch. Wonder Star Joe from Bilbangira. Then came Just Begun, beaten from I'm in Luck, Dance Act, and Galway Union into the home straight. Red and Rave headed up first, got away a length and a half over Eastern Flight, Mystic Monarch. Here comes Bilbangira from Star Joe, a little over 100 to go. It's Red and Rave by 2. Star Joe is running home hard with Bilbangira. Red and Rave in front. Star Joe is closing with Bilbangira. Red and Rave, Star Joe, Bilbangira, Star Joe. Star Joe, the outside, I'd say, has won the Derby.
Star Joe is yet another bargain buy to emerge from the Waikato yearling sales in New Zealand. He is by Starway, one of the most exciting young sires in Australasia, whose symbol.
We now come to the
Avon's Lord. After that great second to Avon's Lord, Bone Crusher improved to become the outstanding 3-year-old in New Zealand. In the Derby, rival jockeys ensured the pace was on throughout, hoping that Bone Crusher, being by a sprinting bred sire, would weaken at the 2,400-metre journey.
Then followed Sir Sydney a half away. Then followed a length and a half. Chief Cochise giving ground. Bone Crusher poked up on the inside of it. Flight Bijot's in that group with on a bridle length and a half to Tristram's Bell. Then followed Field Dancer. Durham Light is next with Regimental March. Then followed by next is 4Gs as well, back with Rajamar as they pack up, and alongside of them Brook Bond. 550 to go in the Derby, and it's Sharp Ace the leader, and Taos on its outside. Sir Sydney's a length and a half behind them. Random Chance the run of the race. On a Bright coming into it, then Flight Bijot, Bone Crusher both buried into the straight. 400 metres to go. Sharp Ace tackled by Antaeus, but Bone Crusher shot to the lead, and Flight Bijot's now setting out after him. Bone Crusher in front though. He's 200 metres to go. He's got 2 lengths on. Out wide Flight Bijot and Random Chance. Bone Crusher still in front. Flight Bijot now coming at him hard. Bone Crusher in front. Flight Bijot's closing. Bone Crusher running about, but he's still in front. Flight Bijot trying to pull him back. Bone Crusher in front, and he's won the Derby. Second is Flight Bijot. Next behind them, Random Chance.
We now head back to Perth for the running of the Swan Brewery Railway Stakes, another Group 1 handicap over the metric mile. Rant and Rave's owner Laurie Connell was again in the spotlight with his top-class sprinter Concrete, whose lead-up form had been impeccable. And Melbourne trainer Brian
to third now from Keepers and Colpack, a length the Rare Flyer. Concrete only a neck away from Jamoyne the rails. Wonder Like a Soldier. Kiwi Slave, Prince of Paupers, a length and a half. Then to Hallpack's Image, Lord Bell and Mighty Supremo with White Tiger and Kalingari City. They've got 500 to go. And Valley of Karam, Gibbon Rain by a length and a quarter. Jungle Mist, a length and a half. Keepers getting up on the inside of Colpack and Oliat, followed by Concrete. Rare Flyer, Kiwi Slave, Prince of Paupers and Like a Soldier. Valley of Karam headed up first by a length over Jungle Mist. Keepers coming down the outside. Concrete going for the inside run from Colpack, but Valley of Carome led at the 100. Concrete along the inside, and Keepers and Jungle Mist the outside. Valley of Carome from Keepers and Colpack. Keepers, Valley of Carome, maybe. Valley of Carome has won a nostril over Keepers, but it's very tight.
Valley of Carome is by Avon Valley, who now stands at Elizabeth Park Stud, Wallachia, New South Wales. After the race, winning jockey Brendan Clements announced retirement from the saddle to become a harness racing steward.
The 1986 Winfield Perth Cup was essentially regarded as a race in three. Lester Piggott's mount, Importune, the classy 3-year-old Rant and Rave, and the well-handicapped Aliat.
They've got 1,100 to go. Anticky Toss, the leader by 100. Still Anticky Toss, 3/4. Norm's Delight to Sea Blood. Bold Endeavour's gone. Into the straight, 300 to go now. And Miller sent Aliat to the lead. Aliat swung for home by 2.5. Here comes Importune the outside. 3 away to Diamond Chimes, followed by Amber's Double. At the 200, Aliat in front from Importune the outside. But Aliat in front. He's going away over Importune. Well back to Rant and Rave and Gypsy Blood. But Aliat coming away to give Johnny Miller his first Perth Cup. Aliat by 2.5.
There's no doubt about it, John Miller's as masterly as ever. Miller rode at his lightest weight for many years to take the Aliat mount for his wife Kay, who part owns and trains the gelding. The Perth Cup was the final Australian appearance for English riding legend Lester Piggott, who has retired to take up training.
Usually the race which stops New Zealand. Well, it stopped the country again on New Year's Day 1986. But after the race was all over, no one was quite sure why. Unfortunately, the 86 Auckland Cup was one of the less memorable renewals of this great race. No doubt the sentimental favourite was the gallant Secured Deposit, the record-breaking winner of the race 12 months previously.
On the rise, 1,000 metres to go. They'll sprint home. Rose and Thistle is the leader. In second place, Secured Deposit. Kerry Lane's had the run of the race, about a length. And Thistle now. Here comes Secured Deposit. Here comes Kotari Chief and Curved Air out wide. Kerry Lane the inside, and Deloran threading its way through Amlock's a mile away. 250 to go. Rose and Thistle, Kerry Lane and Dwanette's Girl storming home late. Kerry Lane's got the lead 100 metres out. Hard to catch now. Rose and Thistle and Dwanette's Girl coming home. Kerry Lane in front, going to the post. Kerry Lane won the Auckland Cup second. Dwanette's Girl final advance was third, then Fort Chevelle.
Kerry Lane's owner, Barry Neville White, had purchased the mare privately a matter of days before the race for $65,000. The winner's prize of more than $140,000 made her look one of the bargain buys of the turf. It's interesting to note that Kerry...
The same did not apply to New Zealand, where one filly, Royal Heights, stood out. Royal Heights won 4 of her first 6 starts, and consequently went into the Group 1 New Zealand Oaks at Trentham on January 20, a short-priced favourite. The filly's supporters were in for a shock when jockey Warwick Robinson rode her hard from Barrier Rise.
Rose, they're up. Way they go in the Oaks. French Polish made a good beginning from wide out. Pauline's Girl, and here's Royal Heights from right on the outside is scampering along, and it's going to try and take over the running. And as they settle down now, Royal Heights is going to be the leader from Opal Flash and Style Girl. Imperial Angel is next. And another new leader. Empire Rose in front now from Imperial Angel. Style Girl, Ode to 12's had the race made to order for it. About a length away then to Royal Heights is followed on the inside of these by Hexagonal, improving a little bit. Pauline's Girl drifting. They were followed by Sea Dreamer and Opal Flash is next, and further back in the field Amethyst making her run, but she's going to be wide. On the corner they come in the Oaks, 400 to go, and Empire Rose led them in from Ode to 12. Royal Heights now immediately challenges. They were followed by Imperial Angel, Hexagonal working into the clearers, followed by Chanson de Moore, then Opal Flash, Sea Dreamer, and a bit far away French Polish and Amethyst. 200 left to go. Royal Heights and Empire Rose the first two. Sea Dreamer out wide. Ode to 12 battling on, but it's Royal Heights on the outside now from Empire Rose. Ode to 12 lying third. Sea Dreamer finishing well. It's Royal Heights, Ode to 12, and on the inside Empire Rose, but Royal Heights is too good. She's won it. Second home would have been Empire Rose, Ode to 12 third. Then
Royal Heights has a pedigree well known to Australian racing and breeding followers. She's by Sir Tristram from the battle wagon mare Claudine, making her a sister to the South Australian Derby winner Mapperley Heights, with Claudine being a sister to 1974 New Zealand Horse of the Year, Battle Heights.
New Zealand's most reliable gallopers is Pinson, who you may recall, and Pinson had come to Melbourne and distinguished himself with a second to champion River Rough in the Pure Pack Stakes at Flemington on Derby Day. Back on more familiar ground, Pinson was one of the popular elects in the Wellington Racing Club's Group 1 Jardine Mile.
Field about 9 off the pace. Just over 800 to go now, and Chardalou, the leader from Pinson, out racing wide, Prepare third, and moving up on the outside to Noble Note. In between them would have been Harbour Flow the inside, then Silver Elm, and whipping round the outside was In the Glen, is followed then by Tomo's Tornado, well back Greatness, Balrani and Silver Samurai, and Tantalize at the back of the field. They race up towards the turn. There's only one on the fence, and the rest have all gone right to the outside. So coming round the turn, it looks like Chardalou is in front, but it's probably not. And now Pinson's levelled up and down the outside. Noble Note there, followed then by In the Glen, and wider out then the Greatness, and behind them Tantalize making a run and might have got to the lead. Tantalize now from Pinson there, followed by Noble Note, Atrapar, Balrani. They're all battling, and it's Tantalize and Pinson there, the two from Noble Note, and In the Glen. Tantalize, Pinson the outside doing a bit better, and Pinson's going to get there. It's going to be tight for the miners though. Very wide apart, Noble Note and In the Glen.
The Jardin Mile was the third Group 1 win of Pinson's career, as he already had a...
Cup and the way pretty well.
The first 2 days of the Wellington Cup Carnival had been conducted on lightning-fast surfaces. But on the Friday before the big race, the heavens opened up to douse the Wellington Racing Club's premier event for the second successive year. It was to be the clash of New Zealand's two favourite stayers, Kiwi and Secured Deposit. But after the rain, both camps were little more than hopeful.
In that group as well, and I do put Cheval and Kiwis last, and Kotari Chief has slipped away. Out by about 5 now on Secured Deposit and Azapal, and running on a little bit, Chance for Gold. 2.5 back to Bill Jew, getting into it then Amlock One, Eddie's Girls next in, Whittle improving, followed by Gold Lame and drifting a bit in that group as well, Samasan. Round the corner in the Cup, 400 to go, and Kotari Chief has slipped away. Out by about 4, Samasan could be the danger, but it's a fair way back there, followed by Mildew, out by Chance for Gold, and here's Curved Air unwinding with great style down the outside. 200 to go, Kotari Chief, and here's Samasan coming after it. I think it's grabbed it quick. Samasan from Kotari Chief, and Curved Air's the danger on the outside, but Samasan, the New Zealand Cup winner, Curved Air, Kotari Chief, and Whittle finishing well, but Samasan makes it a double, wins the Cup from Curved Air. Whittle's third.
A fine staying effort under the conditions by Samasan, who had won the Group 2 New Zealand Cup over the same distance in November.
Australian Jockey Club Australasian Oaks, run in early February, is now one of the 2 richest races for 3-year-old fillies in the country. 7 days before the Australasian Oaks, the Victorian filly Kenny Lass put in an amazing performance to win the Group 3 Queen of the South Stakes, and it was this effort which assured her of favouritism for the Oaks.
And they're racing in the Oaks of 86, and one of the best away was Come Tell. Away quick for the turn, and the whips are starting to be wielded. On the inside, Starlight Express just the leader. Here comes Serlin now. And right around the outside of the field comes the Kiwi filly. On the outside, Alistair Dreamer. Back in behind them, Delonte, Rolanda, Rich Glory, and then Come Tell. Kenny Lass can't get a run. Right down the outside, Miss Clipper. On the outside, Alistair Dreamer has raced up quickly to Serlin. They were followed further back by Miss Clipper. Alistair Dreamer has gone to the lead in the closing stages. Miss Clipper is cutting her down. Alistair Dreamer in front. Kenny Lass late on the scene. Miss Clipper races up to Alistair Dreamer. Kenny Lass flying, but Miss Clipper has won. Miss Clipper takes out a big double at the count.
Miss Clipper's win represented a career highlight for young Flemington trainer Lee Friedman. Not long after the Oaks, Miss Clipper was sold for an undisclosed amount to American interests. The win was the second in the Oaks for John Letts, who'd taken out the 1982 running on Royal Regatta. Tantalize was able to hold that scorching form in the Waikato Racing Club's Lion Brown Sprint, a Group 1 weight-for-age race over 1,400 metres on February 11.
Then followed by next is Pinson, working up from Wren's flanks as they make the 600 metres, where the leader is Diamond Lover, cruising along about 2 lengths now on Princess Dram, Glenside on the outside of it. A length and a half to Sol Big, then Pinson is next, then Hassan Dean as they make the corner into the straight. So Diamond Lover led now from Princess Dram, past it in about 2 strides, and Diamond Lover's flat, but is it coming back now on the inside? Pinson's dashed into the lead. Out wider here, Solveig. Diamond Lover's well gone. At the 250, Pinson and Princess Dram, and Solveig are the 3 now. Pinson with his nose in front. Solveig trying to get a hair's Tantalize. What a run's come from all but last, and they race to the post, and it's Tantalize is going to win it. 1.5 lengths. Second, Pinson. Third, Solveig. Clear Gold race.
The Lion Brown was the 11th win from 41 starts for Tantalize. A tough gelding who's won every year since he first sported silk as a 2-year-old back in 1982.
As we mentioned earlier, Melbourne in the autumn is the 86 autumn saw the introduction of a new race at Flemington, and one of which we'll see a great deal more. The Victoria Racing Club developed the concept of a championship mile race for 3-year-olds and called it, appropriately, the Australian Guineas. Aided by sponsorship from Cadbury's, the Australian Guineas boasted first season prize money of $100,000 and was accorded Group 3 status. The VRC also developed two lead-up races over 1,400 metres, the Debonair and the Vanity, with the most significant form coming from the Debonair, in which Caledonian Boy narrowly defeated the Bletchingley colt True Version. But with an advantage under the set weight conditions at 1,600 metres, True Version was confidently back to avenge that defeat.
Gates crash open and he jumped well. Baptise was a little slow and Dartel was one of the last with Besterberg. Black Charleston's being ridden hard early and he'll lead Caledonian Boy. 100 make it 6-7 to Caledonian Boy. Raj put third, a length and a half away then to Faristan, the True Version between horses. Then Normandy Bay, about a length and a half Baptise and Shake Your Lass. They're both coming together. 3 lengths further back, Besterberg, Dartel and Linker's Choice. Black Charleston led 8 lengths into the straight at the 500. Caledonian Boy second. On the outside next, Raj put True Version, got caught a bit. Faristan the outside. Shake Your Lass winds up with Baptise at the 400. Black Charleston 2 lengths, Caledonian Boy. True Version took a split from Faristan and Shake Your Lass. It's Caledonian Boy going for a rails run. True Version explodes to the front. Then Black Charleston, Shake Your Lass at the 200. True Version's raced away from Caledonian Boy. Baptise and Shake Your Lass. He's got it won. The last time we'll see him in Victoria. What a finale. True Version by 3 lengths to Caledonian Boy. Black Charleston a mighty third.
The Australian Guineas was the final racecourse appearance for True Version, who was retired to stand at Widden Stud in New South Wales alongside his famous father, Bletchingley. The Oakley Plate is regarded as the toughest test of the Australian speed horse because from the moment they jump from the 1,100 metre barrier at Caulfield, the pace is on throughout. The 1985 Blue Diamond winner, Let's Get Physical, was favourite, while the position of second favourite was held down by the previous year's Golden Slipper winner, Rory's Jester.
Get Physical began well on the inside. Lord Galaxy and Star Pyramid out wider on the track and also going fast. Whirly Lost Art, Karabaharan going through Art Master looking for the lead. Gypsy Alert's got up along the inside fence when they settle down. Skydrop is just behind it. Star Pyramid and Art Master in front of Gypsy Alert at the 800 from Skydrop on the rails. Let's Get Physical. They were followed by Warlike out wide. Rory's Jester has got well back in the field at this stage, and they were followed then by Cole Pack, Cardinal's Fury near the rear, and Rocky Mac and last King Phoenix. On the turn, 500 out, Star Pyramid wide from Skydrop, Gypsy Alert and Art Master a length and a half clear from Ever Ready. Then Let's Fit Physical looking for a run, followed by Cole Pack on the outside. Rory's Jester pulled wide, but he's a mile back. In the straight, Skydrop and Gypsy Alert, the leaders from Ever Ready, getting out Cole Pack and Let's Get Physical. Here's Cole Pack grabbing them in a few strides out wide on the track to race to the lead now. Lord Galaxy coming from the clouds, but Cole Pack's going to canter in. Wins by about 2.5 lengths to Lord Galaxy and those away third on the
Cole Pack is bred on a cross of two of the most influential stallions in Western Australian history. He's by the versatile Hall Pack, who sired 7 stakes winners for the season, out of a mare by the former Caulfield Guineas winner and leading sire, Beau Sonnet. Bone Crusher didn't contest the Wellington Derby, but was eased up with a view to taking on the Dominion's best weight-for-age performers in the Group 1 Air New Zealand Stakes.
By 2.5. Eva Grace second, Bone Crusher third. Right there, our Janie, then Clear Gold. Canterbury Bell is next. A half away, Lack of Reason. Then I Beat 'em, then a bit like a racing to the 600 metres. Balrani by 2. Bone Crusher moved off the rail now and works up to Eva Grace. Our Janie, Canterbury Bell tracking Bone Crusher throughout. They come to the turn, 450 to go. Balrani, Bone Crusher is right there. Right there, Eva Grace and Canterbury Bell. They sprint for home. Bone Crusher goes to Balrani. Eva Grace 2 away, then Canterbury Bell asked to go now, but it's Bone Crusher. He slipped away. A good break of 3 at the 250. Canterbury Bell's flat to the boards, and so too is Eva Grace and Lack of Reason, but it's Bone Crusher. He's too good, the colt. He's got ears pricked and he's away by 4 lengths going to the post. A bit like is charging after him late. Bone Crusher in front, a bit like is charging home on the inside, but he's too late. Bone Crusher beat a bit like her. Next home was Lack of Reason, then Balrani, then followed Canterbury Bell, our Janie.
Sydney's Autumn Carnival has become bigger and better every year. And this year, there are even some observers in the press who claimed that it surpassed the Melbourne Cup Carnival as the annual racing highlight of Australia. Well, now, while that might be going a bit too far, there's no doubt that the STC and the AJC have combined for a wonderful 2 months of racing.
Yes, so true, Bill. One of the early autumn races which has improved immeasurably in stature in recent years is the Chipping Norton Stakes, a weight-for-age race over 1,600 metres at Warwick Farm, and which now boasts $100,000 in prize money. In 1980, 1986, the race featured a return to racing of the outstanding three-year-olds Handy Proverb, Roman Artist and Heat of the Moment, but despite their presence, the previous year's winner Rising Prince was favourite at 5-2.
It's Roman Artist a half length to Rising Prince on the outside and 2 lengths away in third place, Feeling Fit. Another 2.5 to Handy Proverb on the inside of Hallpack's Image, followed by Indian Raj and Heat of the Moment together. A gap to Tristark, Hard Ridden, followed by Tristram Rose, then Late Show, Import Tune, Sprightly Native, and still Ulyatta's last as the field thunders around the turn. And there's that famous baldy face of Rising Prince on the outside, surging to the lead. Rising Prince took the lead, turning the corner over Roman Artist, but here comes Heat of the Moment. The little filly Heat of the Moment has stormed to them. By crikey, she's good. Heat of the Moment shot to the lead inside the 200 mark. Handy Proverb getting to second, followed by Rising Prince and Indian Raz. But what a bonny little mare. Heat of the Moment raced away to win the Chipping Norton over Handy Proverb with Indian Raz third.
But it isn't until the autumn that the serious business begins. Throughout the late summer and early autumn, every 2-year-old owner in Melbourne is hoping his youngster can earn a start in the Blue Diamond Stakes, which was this year sponsored by Melbourne businessman Merv Brown, who has the Australian franchise for hang to the race. There didn't seem much doubt that Bounding Away was the best of the fillies, while Bataan was the pick of the colts, extending his unbeaten sequence to 3 with an easy win in the Abcos National Stakes in February. Let's go back to Caulfield on March 1 for the running of the MB Hang 10 Blue Diamond Stakes.
Racing. And getting away very well was Western Ace in the centre, and also Lockley's Daughter and Opine Trust showing great speed, followed by Ajc. When they settle down, Bounding Away's gone up along the inside rail to join Opine Trust in the lead, followed by Ajc. Then came Indeed I Do on the fence from Lars Zip and Lockley's Daughter, followed then behind them by Vividly. Next in the field then is Western Ace, who's lost his position from Serendipity. They were followed 2 lengths further back, Roman Laurel and Cameronic, and then Mr. Cheap and last Woolvet. Up to the turn with 600 to go, and the leader Bounding Away ahead now to Indeed I Do on the rails. Opine Trust over on the outside of them. Ajc struggling a little, Lockley's Daughter moving up out wide, Lars Zip looking for a run with Vividly. Then came Western Ace at the head of the others, and Bataan making ground out wide. Bounding Away the leader into the straight, led from Indeed I Do, then Opine Trust, Lockley's Daughter, Bataan on the outside, but Bounding Away has kicked away. Dittman shot at 2 lengths in front of Lars Zip, Bataan struggling from Lockley's Daughter, but Bounding Away is living up to its name and is going to walk in. Bounding Away wins the Blue Diamond by 4 lengths. Close for second, Bataan got second from Lars Zip. Woolvet flashing home next from Lockley's Daughter.
Ian, that was probably the easiest win we've seen in a Blue Diamond Stakes since Manicato.
Put away till end of January.
Then the lead-up to the Blue Diamond.
Well, she won the day with Harry White on it. I think she drew the outside. And the first run around this way, you know, they mostly improved quite a bit. But on Joe, she was going like a rocket on the track.
Yeah, I came down and rode her on the, I think it might have been the Tuesday and the Thursday before the race, and her work was so good. You know, she was working with another 2-year-old we had here at the time, and, you know, just running away from him the last furlong and beating him easy. You know, she looked a great chance in the race. I was very keen on her chances leading into the Blue Diamond.
I thought she'd win both races. I thought she'd win that race and the Golden Slipper just as easy.
Up to the go. Missing it, tries Shell.
The Group 1 Futurity Stakes, run a week later, was the opportunity for top 3-year-old sprinter Campaign King to prove that he could run the journey of 1,400 metres.
He jumped from an inside alley, and he showed us that he didn't like racing on the inside, and I had a big job. I was pushing him along because it was a very fast run race, and he kept responding all the way around the turn.
In the centre, Beaumont Babe is handy, and there's Taj Quillo zooming around them, and Campaign King following it up. They're followed by Playful Princess, Delightful Bell and Dazzling Duke. Taj Quillo hit the front on the corner with West Mayo and Touch of Genius. Then Campaign King followed by Delightful Bell and Dazzling Duke. At the 200, Taj Quillo and Touch of Genius with Campaign King coming at them from Dazzling Duke. Taj Quillo's hit the front, Campaign King trying to grab it with Dazzling Duke. Campaign King got interfered with. It's Taj Quillo in front, but Campaign King's grabbed it and won. Campaign King's won it by a short half.
That victory took Campaign King's career figures to 12 wins from 15 starts. for earnings of just over $250,000.
Key races for 3-year-old colts during the autumn are the Canterbury Guineas, the Rosehill Guineas and the Ajc Derby, the 3 races jointly forming a Triple Crown series, which is worth a total of just on $750,000. In recent years, the biggest hurdle for most of the top performers has been the first leg, the Canterbury Guineas, because horses who race back in the field are invariably unsuited on the tight, turning Canterbury track. This year's Canterbury Guineas was a crackerjack field, with top colts Handy Proverb, Rant and Rave, Drawn at Easter, all set to do battle over the 1900-metre circuit. But I don't think anyone was prepared for the boil-over which ensued.
They're off and running a great start. The filly Dolcezza from the inside is one of the first out. Roman Artist going straight to the lead, followed by Chanticleer. Drawn is getting into a prominent bustle between horses now. Easter and Dream Lodge back at the tail of the field as they start the run up the hill. And the filly Dolcezza had moved up to take the lead away from Roman Artist. In third place, Kenzai moving around the outside. Drawn, followed by Chanticleer, Rant and Rave. Farristan is next, and Handy Proverb is very badly cluttered up between horses turning for home. Into the straight, and Dolcezza kicked away. Dolcezza well clear at the 200 mark. Drawn is going after her now, and here's Rant and Rave. Rant and Rave on the outside, Handy Proverb behind them. Dolcezza tackled by Rant and Rave on the outside, and Drawn in the centre. Dolcezza just in front. It's a boil-over, and Dolcezza, the filly, in a boil-over, wins the Guineas narrowly from Rant and Rave and Drawn. Handy Proverb is...
Dolcezza is the first stakes winner by the former outstanding 3-year-old Sir Silver Lad, winner of the 1976 New Zealand Derby and conqueror of Salamander in the 1977 Champion Stakes at Randwick. Dolcezza had raced 20...
With the Jardin Mile under his belt, it was only natural that trainer Don Karchman set Pinson for the DB 1600, a Group 1 weight-for-age race over the same course and distance on March 8.
And still 2 to a bit like her. 8.50 left to go. Solvig being left alone in front by 2 lengths still from Pinson. Magnitude is third. Canterbury Bell back on the inside there as they race up, and Solvig going kindly in the lead by 2 lengths from Pinson. Lying third is Magnitude. Canterbury Bell back on the inside, then Atrapar followed in by Courier Flight. And last a bit like has got a little bit of work to do. Round the corner, 400 left to go, and Solvig will set sail for home now from Pinson. Right and behind them, Canterbury Bell wide out, Magnitude, Courier Flight. They're followed in by Atrapar, and still last a bit like her. Solvig's in front, just over 200 to go now from Pinson. Here's Canterbury Bell unwinding on the inside. They're followed in by Atrapar. Don't like a bit like her, trying to get into the clear. Solvig's in front, they're not going to get it. Solvig now from Atrapar, Pinson, Canterbury Bell the inside, but Solvig a good ride's got there by about a length and a half from Canterbury Bell.
The DB 1600 was the 10th career win for Solvig, who was undoubtedly the best progeny to date of the former multiple Group 1 winning sprinter miler Imposing. Solvig was the 84-85 filly of the year in New Zealand.
One sprint race in Victoria is undoubtedly the Newmarket Handicap, a Group 1 sprint run up the famous 1,200-metre Flemington Straight. The Newmarket, which has been sponsored by Sterling for the past 3 years, is usually regarded as the ultimate challenge for form students, although this year most believed they had an edge on the handicapper and accordingly made Hewler Chief favourite at 5-4. Hewler Chief may have been well weighted, but so too were a few others in the event, notably the distinguished South Australian 4-year-old Lockley's Tradition.
Racing, jumped beautifully. Burano, Mr. Illusion away well. Hewler Chief jumped very well today from Rocky Mac. Wider out on the track, Rory's just a touch of Genius, and Campaign King is leading the outside division working across, and they were followed further back by Coalpack also improving. At the 1,000-metre, and Elas and Burano. Campaign King at the 500, a length and a half. Coalpack, a length further back, Lord Galaxy. Hewler Chief called on. Then Taj Quillo, Beach Gown and Lockley's Tradition. Campaign King at the 400s, grabbed by Coalpack. He looks to have the King beaten, and they're followed by Hewler Chief and Rory's Jester from Lockley's Tradition. But Coalpack shot to the lead. Campaign King's gone. Hewler Chief and Lockley's Tradition starting to run on with Richfield's Lad. Coalpack in front. Hewler Chief's pegging him back from Lockley's Tradition. Richfield Lad and Kenny Lass. It's Coalpack just in front. Hewler Chief and on the outside Lockley's Tradition. It's one Lockley. Lockley's Tradition's beaten Coalpack and Hewler Chief. Kenny Lass.
As we will see later in the racing year, Lockley's Tradition went on to distinguish himself over 1,600 metres. And with an autumn record of 3 wins from only 3 starts, he must be regarded as one of the stars of the season. There was an abundance of form and statistical information to come out of the autumn sprints in Sydney this year. And to tell us all about it, let's go to Ian Craig.
Well, the same day as the VRC conducted the Newmarket, the Sydney Turf Club staged the Star Kingdom Stakes at Rose Hill, and there could not have been a more appropriate winner of the race than a descendant of the legendary Star Kingdom sire line at sea, Australia's champion 3-year-old sprinter on the previous season's classification. He shouldered top weight of 58.5 kilos, but this did not deter punters from sending him out a firm favourite at 6-4.
Waiting for the run home. On the outside now, at sea moved up the challenge. Foystan, Foreign Editions running a bit of a race at big odds on the inside, and down the outside, Bain Carrioy. But at the 200, and here's the real At Sea today. At Sea charged to the lead from Foystan, battling back. Down the outside, Foreign Edition running home well in company with Pete's Goal, but it's all At Sea. And Darren Beedman lands another big race. At Sea wins by 2 lengths on the line. Foystan, third Foreign Edition.
The newer races elevated to Group 1 standing in Australia is the Orlando Classic, a 1,500-metre handicap for fillies and mares, decided on the second day of the Sydney Turf Club's 4-day autumn carnival.
Come down the back now, and in front, leading the way, Satin Sand, by about a length on plain cover. Over on the inside, Mrs. Fitzherbert, the Melbourne mare's running third. On the inside next was Cena. They're being attended further back in the field by Eastern Temple, about sixth on the inside. Marchiquita's in advance of it on the outside of Cena from Travel Light. Tristram's Girls going around the outside. They're followed by a Hasty Zip further back. Dinky Flyer spotting them a fair start, as is Tingo Tango from Petrus. Well back was Brigantic Cologne, and back towards the tail, in fact, was Cologne as they straighten for the run home, where Satin Sand in front. Plain Covers coming out after it now. Marchiquita on the outside, and then Tristram's Girl. In behind them next was Mrs. Fitzherbert, not coming on, and further back was Eastern Temple looking for a way out of a pocket as they come to the 200, and Satin Sand still in front. Can Cassidy do it again? Satin Sand's in front by 2 lengths. I'll tell you he can. Satin Sand in front close to home and wins by 2 or 3 lengths. Tight go the Miners. Plain Covers run second. Travel Light third.
The Orlando was the second successive group victory for Satin Sand, who had previously taken out the Liverpool City Cup at Warwick Farm in February. Satin Sand, a daughter of the very fast stakes-winning American sprinter Wayne Shaw, is trained at Newcastle by Max Lees, the man who groomed the great Luskin Star. Brian, of course, trained the 1985 Sydney Cup winner Late Show and had the gelding back in work for a second crack at the big Randwick 2-miler. One of the crucial lead-up races is the Group 1 weight-for-age Rawson Stakes, decided over 2,000 metres at Rose Hill.
Now they run towards the 1,000-metre mark, and Neil Payne employing sensible tactics here. Stack them up if you can, and he leads on Shinakima by a length on Silver Award. Late Show is running third down on the inside. On the outside was Ken's Fortune, a length away to Tristram Rose past the 800. Shinakima now scoots away again. This is a heady ride by young Neil Payne. It got 3 lengths clear of Silver Award being ridden along. Late Show, the Sydney Cup winners on the inside, followed by Ken's Fortune, drawn going up around the outside, and the mare Tristark going with it. Back towards the tail was Tristram Rose, and Ulat is last in the Rawson Stakes. They straighten, and Shinakima kicked. It got a length and 3/4 clear of Late Show on the outside, and here's drawn and Tristark down the outside. Little Neil Payne riding for dear life on Shinakima. It's still in front, but Late Show and Drawn are coming at it on the outside with Tristark. What a race. Late Show got the Shinakima. Drawn on the outside, coming at Late Show. Late Show still in front. Drawn inch by inch, wearing him down, but Late Show for Minor. Half hit on the line, Drawn. Shinakima third, and
as you can imagine, after watching that replay, there were a number of ramifications over the defeat of Drawn. Peter Cook was taken off the colt and replaced by Gavin Duffy, but unfortunately for Peter, Drawn won the Rose Hill Guineas at his very next start. But full credit to Late Show and, of course, the
and wide throughout.
Pleasure. 3 lengths to Hop Market, a length to Military Plume, only went off the rail. Bells are calling on the fence, and then Mouton Century Prince from Ajc Symbolico out of the night. At the head of the others, Urbane, followed by Mr. Rubble, Duke Abbey, Priceless, Prince General MacArthur, and last of all is Devon Duke. Classic Coup, 2 lengths ahead of Race for Pleasure near the turn. 2.5 lengths Military Plume, who's third on the outside of Hop Market. Bells are calling on the rails. Mouton is out wider. Symbolico deep, and so is Urbane from Ajc out of the night, and Century Prince is under pressure now, and then Mr. Rubble. They're into the straight at the 350, and Classic Coup is about to be tested by Military Plume. Race for Pleasure is struggling. Symbolico running on from Urbane inside the 200, and Military Plume has wrested the lead from Classic Coup. Symbolico battling on with Urbane from Bells are calling. Military Plume is clear. Symbolico coming hard, going to be close. A great go to the line. Symbolico beat
military plume, third placing Urbane.
Symbolico is the first Group 1 winner by the former top-class English 2-year-old Lord Seymour, who stands at the Nook Stud in Victoria. Symbolico was trained at Flemington by Tommy Hughes and was ridden to perfection by stable jockey Craig Dinn.
From Carnival, the chief attraction for stayers is the Group 1 Australian Cup over 2,000 metres at Flemington.
It's Top Banner, the pacemaker, leading by about a length over on stage as they go by the 1,000. In third placing, Prayful Princess, 2 lengths to Under Oath, then Puckle Hub. Fox Seal is a good way back in the field with Globe Trotter and Gold Deck. And last of all, Afghan's Idol at the turn into the straight. And Top Banner leaves the rails and is joined in front by On Stage. They're about 2.5 or 3 lengths clear over Playful Princess and then Cliffman. Under Oath Astries run, Knight of Avon and the Vagrant into the clear from Show Glen, Puckle Harbour, but at the 300 and Top Banner shook off On Stage. Cliffman battling away from Playful Princess, Under Oath, and then the Vagrant and Fox Hill from a long way back. Playful Princess is bounding home now from Under Oath, and Playful Princess punched out by Maunders, too good. Playful Princess first, Under Oath second, photo for third, Knight of Avon on top.
A thoroughly deserved win by Playful Princess, a courageous and versatile mare whose lead-up form had been most consistent. Playful Princess represented a career highlight for Caulfield trainer Tom Lanyon.
The Newmarket Handicap at Flemington in March was a marvellous performance in itself. But I think it's safe to say that the Newmarket win alone didn't bring Lockley's Tradition his rightful recognition. However, a week later, trainer Mick Armfield lined the 4-year-old up against a smart field of milers in the Group 2 Weight for Age Alistair Clark Stakes at Moonee Valley. We've included this race because we believe it was one of the most impressive performances of the season.
Lockley's Tradition being eased out, 3 off the fence now. A length to Knight of Avon on the inside from Canny Lass. Then Lord of Camelot and a length to King Phoenix, 6 off the lead. 500 out, Celso and Todd Wilkes together. Here comes Lockley's Tradition. He's letting go at the 400 now. Then Fine Offer, El Telak, Canny Lass, Knight of Avon and King Phoenix giving them 4 lengths and under the whip. Lockley's Tradition sprinted to the lead on the corner. Shot a length and a half clear into the straight. It's a big break from Celso, Todd Wilkes. Canny Lass is struggling and King Phoenix winding up, but Lockley's Tradition straight and 3 in front. King Phoenix out wide is running on pretty well, and then Canny Lass, but Lockley's Tradition's going to bolt in. Lockley's Tradition wins the Newmarket and the Alistair Clark. This one by 4 lengths to King Phoenix or El Telak or...
Lockley's Tradition is the third and most important stakes winner for the former Maluna Stud stallion Aspect, now domiciled in Victoria. Lockley's Tradition was handled in both his big wins by former Victorian jockey Brian Werner, now firmly established in Adelaide.
Tackle the Group 1 George Ryder Stakes over 1,400 metres at Rose Hill.
Good on you, Avon. Stalls open, off and running in the George Ryder. Came out in a nice even line. And Avon Angel actually won the start. Is headed straight away by Dazzling Duke going to the lead. March Akita's in third place. Hula Chief is easing back to be about 5th. And Concrete whizzing up on the rail now to be right behind the 2 leaders. And then Riverdale. And Heat of the Moment is back last of the 7 as they settle. And only 4.5 or 5 lengths covers the field as they go around that first corner. Dazzling Duke at the 800 being held well together. It's a very leisurely run race. Avon Angel in second place and a length and a half Keita. The West Aussie Concrete is perched up on the rails behind the leaders. Heat of the Moment only 4 lengths off the lead and ready to pounce as they turn for home, and Riverdale's a length and a half away, last of the 7 as they wheel the corner into the straight. Now he's trying to pinch a break on Avon Angel as they straighten up and hit the lead over Dazzling Duke. A rails run comes for Concrete, although he got squeezed out again. Hula Chief is joining in, and Heat of the Moment Pop the Question's going to have the last run at them as they get to the 200 mark. Avon Angel gave in. Hula Chief grabbed it. Heat of the Moment coming at Hula Chief. It's Heat of the Moment, Hula Chief. Avon Angel is kicking again on the inside, but Heat of the Moment hung in on top of the others, but she's too good, the little filly, and Heat of the Moment beat Avon Angel.
What an extraordinary amount of ability this filly must have to race so erratically against Group 1 company, yet win with total authority. Heat of the Moment is by the former top-class 2-year-old Blazing Saddles, now in England at Derrisley Wood Stud. Shock win in the Canterbury Guineas threw the Triple Crown Series wide open. All the top 3-year-olds were there again at Rose Hill on March 15th in a bid to retrieve their reputations in the Daily Telegraph Rose Hill Guineas.
They're going in all directions to miss him. Up towards the turn, 500 metres out, Roman Artist led over Kenzai and Eastar. Eastar looming up boldly on the outside as they turn for home, followed by Rant and Rave, and then Drawn. 0-12 further back from Karma Cruise and Agent Provocative, but straightening for the run home. And Drawn got a beautiful run between horses. Drawn has dashed to the lead. Little Drawn in front. 300 metres out. Rant and Rave getting into second place is going after him. The filly Dolces are battling on, and then Karma Cruise. Rant and Rave is going after Drawn. The whips are cracking. Little Drawn won't give up. He's a half length in front of Rant and Rave. Karma Cruise is grabbing the pair of them, but Drawn's in front. He'll win. He's got a heart as big as himself, and Drawn beat Karma Cruise. Rant and Rave third. Every possible hope at the head of the other. Common Sense.
One thing's for certain, we saw no more courageous colt for the entire season than Drawn. A week later in the Tulloch Stakes, racegoers saw a very good horse in Periscope. This fellow is owned by Robert Sangster, and he is a half-brother by Rassendil to Bone Crusher sire Pagasa. Keep his name in mind for the future.
In the corner, followed by Solustrious, but they've straightened up. Tierra Riss rolled outwards, and the run comes for Periscope, who's going after Common Sense, and it might be Jay Cassidy again. I think it is. He took a peep over the left shoulder, saw no dangers there as he drives Periscope to the lead. A 6-1 pop on the tote. Periscope is starting to draw clear. This is his first crack at 2,000 metres, and he's going to win easily. This bloke could win on a billy cart at the moment. Periscope won by 4 lengths to Common Sense. Third, Indian Raj. Fourth,
Bill, only 2 horses had successfully completed the Blue Diamond Golden Slipper double, and they, of course, were John's Hope and Manicato, but no filly had achieved the feat. Bounding Away had 1 run in between the Blue Diamond and the Slipper and was able to win the Magic Night Stakes in an absolute canter over the Rosehill 1,200-metre circuit. Everyone agreed she looked just about unbeatable in the Slipper, with Brian Mayfield Smith's classy colt Imperial Baron the only one regarded as any sort of serious threat. The directors of the Sydney Turf Club, with the backing of Tui's, this year promoted the Golden Slipper to become Australia's second $1 million race, naturally the richest race for 2-year-olds in this part of the world.
Amber light flashing, and they're off and running in the Slipper. A little slow to move at the start, Scotch and Dry, and Sea Swell is last out of the barrier. Pre-Catalan and Captivan began brilliantly, and so did Bounding Away, followed by Magic Flute being rushed over from an outside gate. Right up there with them is Breakfast Creek in the early part, followed by Western Ace. Imperial Baron knuckled over, he all but fell, and Dreams Delight on his outside. Captivan got interference in the early stages and got shuffled right back into the field. And then Just Blooming as they spear through the gap onto the course proper, followed by Hit It Star, and then Sea Swell and Christopher Batan is a mile back, followed by Scotch and Dry, Hader Prince, and back at the tail Maya Card, and they're well strung out as they near the corner. Pre-Catalan, who's shown amazing speed, is in front as they turn for home. In second place on the outside as they straighten for the run in, the Queenslander Breakfast Creek. Imperial Baron on the fence behind them, and here comes Bounding Away. Bounding Away on the outside is racing up to tackle those leaders, followed by Captivan and Magic Flute. At the 200, Pre-Catalan tackled by Bounding Away and Pre-Catalan with Imperial Baron battling on strongly, but it's Bounding Away and Pre-Catalan coming to the line locked together. Bounding Away goes home a little bit the better, and Bounding Away won the Slipper. Wide out, I think, getting up the run second will be Just Blooming. Third, either Pre-Catalan or Imperial Baron.
Although the Slipper was Bounding Away's hardest fought win, Tommy
Slipper. But going into the race, Mick Dittman had a few reservations.
I think mainly because I'd felt in the last week of the preparation for the Slipper, I'd felt she'd just gone off at fraction. I know Magic Night Day, she was just so spot on. And I think she'd just gone over the hill a little bit. You know, and leading into the race, I was always a little bit worried, you know, how the race is going to be run, where she'll be running and so forth. And being such a short price favourite too, there's a lot of tension there.
I've never seen Dad so G'd up as the week leading up to the Golden Slipper. He was so tense and so highly strung. He's a highly strung man at the best of times. He was extremely tense, extremely highly strung.
Racing in the Slipper. Sea Swell on the inside, a little slow. Scotch and Dry and Maya Card also dropped back, and Pre-Catalan the early leader from Bounding Away.
Travelled in the race that she'd ping past them and beat them quickly and easily, but she didn't. She, as I say, I felt she was just going over the hill a bit, and it was from the furlong home she showed a lot of courage to win.
Fourth last, 700 to go. Pre-Catalan, 3/4 Breakfast Creek, 2 Prince, and Maya Card is last. Straightening up in the Slipper, Pre-Catalan just the leader. Bounding Away on the outside, coming after Pre-Catalan. Imperial Baron trying to get clear, and then Breakfast Creek and Captivan. Pre-Catalan being taken on by Bounding Away. Imperial Baron behind them, not getting much room, and then Just Blooming. Bounding Away's taken the lead narrowly. It's Bounding Away coming away, and Bounding Away wins it.
It was everything. It was a dream come true. Dad's won several Golden Slippers, and he's won many, many other great races in Australia, but this was something very personal, very much to do with the Smith family.
I doubt if I've trained a 2-year-old much better. You might have to get back to a horse like, say, Tulloch or something like that, but The other 2-year-olds, I think she could handle them all.
After this, once again, the Bowater Scott Tancred was one of the highlights of the autumn. Every horse in the field was a Group winner, and all but 2 had won Group 1 races, so there can be no argument as to the outstanding quality of this field.
3-year-olds very strongly represented. Playful Princess a little fidgety, but the gates open and they're off in the Tancred. Rant and Rave, the West Aussie, is about the first out. The filly Dolcezza began well, and so did Tristark and the Vagrant and Late Show. Handy Proverb is trapped out deep in the early part, and even wider Tristram Rose and Playful Princess. Racing a bit like a shot to the front, coming to the 800 mark by a length and a half to the Vagrant. In third place, Handy Proverb, followed closely by Tristram Rose, Dolcezza, and then Tristark and Late Show, followed by Lack of Reason, Our Sophia. Further back in the field came Rant and Rave, and then Dwanette's Girl, Playful Princess, Bone Crusher. A mile back, Samazan, followed by Astralin and Fox Seal as last as they near the corner. Coming around the bend at the 450 mark, and Tristark had raced to the lead. Tristark leads the Tancred Stakes fields around the bend and straightened up in front of a bit like a, followed by the Vagrant, and then Dolcezza, Handy Proverb behind them under pressure. Further back is Our Sophia and Rant and Rave down the extreme outside at the 200 mark, and a bit like her again beat off Tristark. A bit like her got clear of Tristark. The filly Dolcezza trying hard to get to them. Rant and Rave, and look at Bone Crusher. Bone Crusher down the outside is coming home right over the top of them. Rant and Rave and Bone Crusher. Bone Crusher won the Tancred. What a performance. Bone Crusher beat Rant and Rave with a bit like a third.
That astonishing performance by Bone Crusher had the effect of stifling betting on the AJC Derby at Randwick the following week. However, the $500,000 prize money ensured a keenly contested race.
As they near the turn in the Derby, and the leader Tierra Wrist by a length and a half to Wilhelm on the outside of Dolcezza, and then Saxon White followed by Drawn, the Brotherhood. Bone Crusher on the outside as they turn for home, and Easter is right on his wheel, and further back Handy Proverb. Over the rise now, Tierra Wrist is the leader, clear of Wilhelm. Drawn is coming through in the centre. Further out, Bone Crusher taking an age to get going. Easter is going with him, and on the extreme outside, Handy Proverb. 150 out, Tierra Wrist is the leader. They're coming from all directions. It's Bone Crusher, Handy Proverb and Drawn. Bone Crusher put his head in front. He's got a great big heart. Bone Crusher, he'll win the Derby. Bone Crusher, too good. Look at the photo for second and third. They're all over the track.
There is no doubting the champion qualities of Bone Crusher, who amazingly enough is by the Kauru star horse Pagasa, who Sydney racegoers will remember as a fairly moderate performer here a few seasons back. The Derby was Bone Crusher's 10th win from only 19 starts, and assured him of early favouritism for the rich spring staying races in Melbourne. Bill, you don't see a horse as good as Bone Crusher very often, and I was amazed in Sydney at Easter talking to New Zealanders who told me that they had one back home even better.
Well, whether or not he's better than Bone Crusher remains to be seen. But the horse in question, Waverley Star, is certainly...
2 races in particular held the key to this year's Foster's Doncaster. The first was the Ryder Stakes at Rose Hill, in which Heat of the Moment defeated Avon Angel and Hula Chief, and the second was the Alistair Clark Stakes in Melbourne, in which King Phoenix ran second to Lockley's Tradition. Heat of the Moment had been set a big task. She had been asked to emulate a former stablemate, Emancipation, who won the Ryder Stakes in Doncaster double back in 1983. That lofty assignment didn't deter punters, who sent her out favourites.
Now Prince Frolic steadies, the gates fly open and they're off in the Doncaster, and it's a beautiful start. Dinky Flyer dropping straight back to the tail with Night of Avon, and bouncing out in front Caledonian Boy to lead early over Chanticleer. In a prominent spot is Avon Angel, followed by Satin Sand and Concrete, and Marchakita a close handy, followed by Hula Chief, and then Common Sense and Magnitude on settling down, and further back is Prince Frolic getting over from his outside barrier. At the head of the others then midfield in the Glen, followed by Canterbury Bell, Riverdale, Heat of the Moment further back than Cassidy wanted to be. Swift Cheval at the head of the others, followed by Bow Kingdom, King Phoenix, followed by Night of Avon, and last of all is Dinky Flyer. Around the first turn in the Doncaster, Avon Angel on the outside went to the lead over Caledonian Boy. Chanticleer third, followed by Marchakita on the rail. Satin Sand in a perfect spot, followed by Concrete, and then Hula Chief and Common Sense, and Prince Frolic again trapped 3 deep as they near the 600 mark. A length away, Magnitude close enough if good enough, followed by Riverdale in the Glen. Canterbury Bell taking off around around the outside as they near the home turn. King Phoenix and then Swift Cheval, Bow Kingdom. Heat of the Moment is in awful trouble. Heat of the Moment got shuffled back to be third or fourth last on the home turn, and then Dinky Flyer and Knight of Avon as they turn over the rise, and Chanticleer. Chanticleer race to the lead in the Doncaster. Satin Sand, and here comes Hula Chief. Hula Chief down the outside, coming with a big run. Hula Chief has raced up to head Chanticleer. Satin Sand is battling on, followed by Knight of Avon, and Heat of the Moment is coming home well with Riverdale. Hula Chief in front, close to home. On the outside, it's King Phoenix and Heat of the Moment in the centre, but Hula Chief is too good, and Hula Chief won the Doncaster. King Phoenix got second, third's close.
The Doncaster capped an amazing season for the lightly raced Hula Chief, who started 10 times during the season for 7 wins, a second to Lockley's Tradition in the Newmarket, and a third to Heat of the Moment in the Ryder Stakes. Hula Chief is owned by Mr. and Mrs. Gerald Jaffe, trained by Bart Cummings, and was ridden on this occasion by Gavin Duffy. Test the Galaxy, sponsored for the first time by Laurie Connell's Rothwell's Merchant Bank. The Galaxy is now a Group 1 race and has a short but marvellous history, having been won by champions like Luskin Star, Mistress Anne and Bletchingley. On the strength of his dominant win in the Star Kingdom Stakes, Ajc stifled betting as an even money favourites.
Starter on his stand, and they're ready to break in the Galaxy, and they'll go like the hammers of Hades, and they're off now. And Vane Top on the outside, one of the first out. Foystarn slow to move, Richfield's Lad slow to move. The grey Bemboka Spirit with a wing on every foot has quickly charged through to go to the lead. Tungsten Lad moving into second place. High Signal up there with them, followed by Let's Get Physical and Incorporation. Vane Top is trapped out deep. Ajc is buried in the pack, running about 7th as they near the 600 mark. Wanavi getting up on the inside of Pete's Gold, and further back Chime Square, and then Foystarn. Richfield Lad very awkwardly placed on the inside and tailed off as Mr. Illusion. Around the corner, 500 out in the Galaxy, and Bemboka Spirit on the inside just led Tungsten Lad. Winavi's in third place on the inside of High Signal at sea, 3 deep on the turn, followed by Chime Square. At the head of the others, Richfield's Lad, and then Pete's Gold as they come up the rise. At sea now accelerating, has raced up to hit the lead over Winavi and Tungsten Lad. Chime Square on the outside, running a bit of a race. He's got to go for At sea. Winavi on the inside has fought back. Winavi again headed At sea with 100 to go. Down the outside, it's Mr. Illusion and Richfield's Lad in the centre. They're coming from all directions. Richfield's Lad grabbed the lead and Hill won. He got it. Richfield's Lad beat Mr. Illusion.
Richfield's Lad provided Benalla trainer George Ledger with his first Group 1 success. Richfield's Lad won 3 stakes races for the season, adding further credits to his sire, the Italian Derby winner Soretto, who stands at Mike Willis's Transmedia Park stud. You saw in the slipper that Imperial Baron was dreadfully unlucky and perhaps should have even beaten Bounding Away, but for being so severely checked approaching the first turn. Anyhow, those who held the view put their money down in a big way to say Brian Mayfield Smith's charge could topple Tommy Smith's Wonder Filly. The odd thing is, they were right, but they didn't collect.
Amber light flashing, and they're off and running in the Sire's Produce Stakes. A good start with Hader Prince dropping straight back to the tail of the field, and Ford Dennison bounced out in front of Imperial Baron. Just Blooming is up closer today. Captivan close handy near the inside on settling down and bounding away.
A couple of strides and, you know, put it beyond doubt.
Imperial Baron's working hard. They've got him 4 and 5 deep on the turn into the straight. Around the corner now and bounding away, and Ford Dennison just led Captivan, and they've got away up the rise by more than a length to Imperial Baron under heavy pressure. Then Military Plume, followed by Just Blooming, Diamond Shower, and Baton on the extreme outside is hitting top gear. Captivan grabbed the lead at the 200 mark over Bounding Away. Imperial Baron struggling. Little Diamond Showers pounced on them. Diamond Shower from the Mayfield Smith stable grabbed the lead close to home, and in a big boil over, Diamond Shower racing away to win the Sire's Produce. Very close for second between Bounding Away and Imperial Baron. In fourth place, Baton, who died on his run.
Diamond Shower had shown great promise in races leading up to the Golden Slipper Stakes, but only her closest admirers conceded her any real chance of beating Bounding Away and Imperial Baron at set weights. Diamond Shower is the 3rd stakes winner, sired by the promising stallion Zephyr Zip, who ironically enough also won the AJC Sire's Produce Stakes. Connections decided she may as well have one more run.
And to the crossing at the 800 mark, Tristark is the leader by a length on At Talark. In on the rail, Travel Light. Periscope is getting a good run. 1 horse off the rail. A bit like has run into a dead end in 5th spot on the fence at the moment. Colour Page on his outside being scrubbed along. And Fox Seal last but steadily picking them up as they near the turn for home. 600 metres out, Tristark led from At Talark, who's under heavy pressure. Periscope in 3rd place, and then Travel Light. A bit like got away from the fence, but again he's run into trouble as they turn for home. He's got nowhere to go now as they straighten up for the run of the judge. 400 out in the Queen Elizabeth, and Tristark led. At Talarkas coming at it. Periscope further out, putting in his run. A bit like as a length or so behind them, starting to wind up. He's switching back to the rails now. A bit like at the 200 mark, and at Talarkas coming at Tristark. A bit like getting the rails run, taking half an hour to get going. The mare Tristark won't give up. She's fighting back. She's got them beaten. The gallant little Tristark, and she'll win. Tristark, a great mare, wins from a bit like with that Talark in third place.
Well, that was Tristark's 5th Group 1 success, and naturally enough confirmed her standing as possibly the most valuable race mare in Australasia today. Tristark was the major winner for the season for the mighty Sir Tristram, who once again strolled away with the Financial Sires Premiership.
English Mint led only a half length on Samara, pressuring the leader. Running third is Eau de Toile, fourth is Verbano on the inside of Normandy Bay. Dolces a close handy, but being ridden along now and then. Lycan Lady and Hasty Miss and Canny Lass starting to make ground. Tingo Tango flat to the boards as they come to the turn, followed by Regal Realm, Cologne, and then Rain Fast just now, and dropping out to last, Lucky Heaven as the Oaksfield nears the corner. English Mint is first into the straight, led narrowly over Samara. On the outside is Eau de Toile, Dolces are behind those leaders, then Tingo Tango under pressure. Further back, Lycan Lady, followed by Normandy Bay and Canny Lass, and now, just now, on the extreme outside of the field, winding up as going out after them. Samara reached the lead at the 200 mark, but here comes just now, right out past the centre of the track, is charging at Samara, and the Queensland filly's going to do it again, and she'll complete the Princess Handicap Oaks double, and look at her go, just now, racing away to score by a big margin. That's a great Oaks win. Second and third's tight.
Just Now is the best member of the first crop of the No Double Stallion Semi-Palatinsk, who stands at Colin McAlpine's Eureka Stud near Toowoomba in Queensland. Trainer Jim Atkins announced that the mare would attempt to emulate the Great Light Fingers, the last female to complete the Ajc Oaks Melbourne Cup double 21 years ago.
Not his better than Bone Crusher remains to be seen, but the horse in question, Waverley Star, is certainly very good. This fellow is a 3-year-old by Star Way and was given a man-sized assignment for a young, inexperienced horse when he took on the best weight-for-age horses available in the TV New Zealand Stakes at Ellerslie on April 5.
They work in 800 metres to go, and it's Sol Vega to Merry Bat, about a length and a half from Call Me Stumpy. Waverley Star's poised in behind the leaders with his light weight. They followed Silver Rhapsody, then Santanir, a length and a half Pinson, then Balrani, Threesome next, then the Filbert. They pack up a little. Then Atrapar, followed by Patricia, then Exocet, a bit like her, and Tutishar Golvan. Around the turn, 500 metres to go, and Sol Vega's the leader, 2 from Waverley Star. Coming out wide, Silver Rhapsody, they head into the straight, then followed by Call Me Stumpy and Santanir. Sol Vega in front, Waverley Star cruising after it now, about a half length and going to head it off. 3 to Santanir, then followed by Silver Rhapsody. The Filbert starting to run on, but Waverley Star shot to the lead, 200 metres to go. He's home, James, he's 2.5 on Sol Vega. The Filbert racing into the minors with Santanir, and a bit like a racing home late, but Waverley Star's going to win it very easily. 5 lengths at the post. Sol Vega held second, third was Santanir, the Filbert was...
Waverley Star continued the successful season enjoyed by Windsor Park stud Starway, who also sired classic winners Shankill Lass, Star Joe and champion colt Starboard in his first crop. Waverley Star is prepared by Dave and Paul O'Sullivan and was ridden by Lance O'Sullivan.
Have received a new lease of life in recent times as the All-Age Stakes, which for a few years attracted disappointing fields when held on the Wednesday after the Doncaster. Now that the race has been moved back to the following Saturday and prize money boosted to $125,000, the All-Age Stakes has become a worthwhile prize in itself instead of being a consolation stake for beaten Doncaster runners.
They've got 700 left to go. Magnitude with the inside running is joined again by Riverdale. Prince Frolic on the outside, moving up 3 deep around Campaign King and Canterbury Bell on the rail. A length and a half to Concrete off the track. Dinky Flyer, Hula Chief now scrubbed along, and then in the Glen, followed by, as they turn for home, King Phoenix second last and Drawn as last, but straightening up now, and Riverdale took a narrow lead over Magnitude. Prince Frolic about to pounce on them. A length away, Canterbury Bell under pressure. Campaign King's the first beaten, and right down the outside, King Phoenix and Hula Chief got badly knocked about there. He got shuffled back in the straight now. Riverdale is the leader. Wide out, Drawn is now getting clear of the ruck, and it's little Drawn going after Riverdale. Look at him go. He's only as big as a pit pony, but he's all heart, and Drawn got up to win. Drawn beat Riverdale. Third, Dinky Flyer. Fourth, King Phoenix. Fifth is Canterbury Bell.
The All-Aged was the 3rd Group 1 victory for the season for Drawn, a colt small in stature but certainly big on courage. The win was a lucky ride for Pat Hyland, who was given the mount by trainer Les Bridge after Gavin Duffy decided to stick with Hula Chief. Stark and the top 3-year-olds Bone Crusher and Handy Proverb from this year's Sydney Cup meant the impending domination of the imported stayer Marooned, undoubtedly the biggest discovery of the year among the staying ranks. Marooned, a flashy chestnut son of the great Mill Reef, Joy and Brian Mayfield Smith stables from England, and from the day he walked into the stable, the horse's mission was the Sydney Cup. As you'll see, there was never any doubt the mission would be accomplished.
1400 out in the back straight. A new leader now. Silver Award took over the running. Moving into second place, Saxon White, followed by Secured Deposit on the outside of Dwanet's Girl. At the head of the others then is Puckle Harbour, followed by Marooned. In on the rail, Great Estate. Further back is Amlock and Our Sophia between horses. And then Joel, Fox Seal, Karma Cruise, Astralin. Well back in the field, Late Show with Panama Jack. And then Samasan and Reckless Tradition. And the Cup field is very tightly packed as they go around that top corner.
Well, Marooned from day one always showed me that he had an outstanding ability to sprint at the end of long work, and he did it in his races. So, you know, he was just too quick for them at the finish when the pressure was on.
Home turn off the track, Puckle Harbour moving around the outside, Panama Jack, and going with it Astralin. Further back is Amlock, followed by Late Show. Fox Seal is well back and very wide as they near the turn, and then Karma Cruise, but around the corner it's the charge of the Light Brigade. The 3-year-old Saxon White is joined by Secured Deposit. In third place the Tasmanian Scruples, and here comes Marooned. Marooned on the outside with that big white blaze has charged up, and Maroon has raced to the lead, coming to the 200 mark. Maroon shot away, getting into second place. Wide out now is Amlock and Our Sophia battling on with Fox Seal, but it's all Maroon. There's a fall. Amlock fell in the straight. Amlock fell. Maroon is clear. Our Sophia and Fox Seal won't pick him up, and Maroon wins the Cup. Maroon first, Our Sophia second, third Fox Seal.
Maroon was the second Sydney Cup winner for Mr. Robert Sangster, who also won the race with the 3-year-old Our Paddy Boy in 1981. It was also another brilliant exhibition from Jim Cassidy, bringing his tally of Group 1 successes for the season to 7, a marvellous effort. And Pain Stakes and the 1,000 Guineas. After Bounding Away's defeat in the AJC Sires Produce, it was widely thought that Tommy Smith would put her away for the season. But Smith, who knows the filly better than anyone else, declared she would back up in the Group 1 Champagne Stakes and win. Smith's optimism was treated with scant respect by the racing public, and the amazing odds of 6-1 was bet about the champion filly's prospects.
He's about to come away from the rail now, and his Western Aces moving up boldly as they come to the turn. In fact, he got a split between those two leaders. 2 lengths away, Pharaoh's Daughter, followed by Bounding Away. Sound Horizon making ground on the inside. Diamond Shower drops the bit and is being hard-ridden and floundering as they turn for home, and Scotch and Dry carted very deep. Riders going out to the centre looking for better ground as they come over the rise. 300 out, and Western Ace is the leader from Devon Duke, and here comes Bounding Away. Look at the little filly go. Bounding Away exploded to the lead at the 200 mark. Diamond Shower out wide, running into second place, is coming home hard. Bounding Away is clear with 100 to go, and she's got them well beaten. Bounding Away, the bookies are wrong this time. Bounding Away wins the Slipper and the Champagne, and it's a brilliant win. Bounding Away first. Mayo card flashed up. I think he got second.
That superb win by Bounding Away was her 7th from 8 starts for the season. Bounding Away was bred, owned and trained by the incomparable Tommy Smith, and that win made her the first 2-year-old ever named as Australia's Horse of the Year.
The final classic for colts is the Mercedes-Benz South Australian Derby, decided over 2,500 metres at Morfordville on May 10. Victorian trainers sent a strong representation and were widely considered to have the race at their mercy. But surprisingly, local horses snared 100% of the stake.
Further back in the field, Stanamar, and before the turn behind those, just begun the Old Vic and Spot on Target. I'm a Red Man in Trouble, drop back on the rudder near last, and one of the last, Wine Duke. A packing field as they turn for home now. Wise Decision joined by Fordyce. Port Tradition, the emergency is coming after them, and Stanamar and French Cotton getting up on the rail. French Cotton went to the lead at the 200, got a length and a half in front now. Trying hard is Stanamar, but it's French Cotton in front. Stanamar is coming at it. Stanamar and French Cotton. Here's a great go. Stanamar, French Cotton. French Cotton is getting plenty out of it, and it's won, I think. French Cotton to Stanamar, Beagle.
The South Australian Derby was the 3rd group success for the season for French Cotton, a son of Lindsay Park Stud's underrated Sovereign Path horse Estaminet. French Cotton was trained by Leon McDonald and ridden by outstanding Adelaide jockey Elf Matthews.
Sent the Sound Reason filly to Adelaide for the SAJC South Australian Oaks, a race which was formerly run over 2,000 metres in the spring, but which, in a progressive move, was put back until May in a bid to further strengthen the South Australian Jockey Club's Adelaide Cup Carnival.
past the 800-metre mark. Our Dizzy Heights only a neck in advance of My Tristina, 2 lengths Golden Twig, Hippity Hop. Then further back came on the outside Samara, it's going well. They were followed by Cena and then Racinto joining in, Stardust Girl and Regal Realms 4 and 5 deep improving. Then Cologne as they pack right up from Delonte, Joe and Lou, Kenny Lass, Iola Star, Gypsy, Missenden Rose dropped out. 400 to go now, and here our Dizzy Heights has been headed by My Tristina, in turn headed by Hippity Hop, in turn headed by Samara. Samara goes to the lead in a race of many changes from Hippity Hop. Then further back in the field, Stardust Girl is starting to run on from Kenny Lass and Cologne, but it's Alf Matthews and Samara. He won the Derby. Can he win the other one, the Oaks? It's Samara drifting to the centre. Yes, it will win. And it's Matthews again. He picks up the featured classic double, and Samara wins it from Hippity Hop.
Samara is the 4th Group 1 winner sired by the Nijinsky Stallion Whiskey Road. Samara was bred by New Haven Park Stud and is closely related to the ill-fated champion galloper Dulcify.
The majority ago. 6 weeks later, Just Now was sent out a short-priced favourite to take out the Group 1 QTC Queensland Oaks. She had shown in a lead-up win that she had held her form nicely since returning from Sydney, and all things being equal, she looked likely to add another Group 1 success to her season's tally.
Front linked away 4th, followed by Travel Light. She's going nicely. She's 5th on the rails. Then Liz Bettina, Eau de Toile, and then Raise Sail. And Compton starting to work on Just Now. She's 3 lengths last as they head down the side, and she's still 10 lengths from the leader. Pretty as Paint in front, 650 metres to go. Leads by 3 lengths. Like a Topic now moving to 2nd. Western Dawn 3rd. Grand Cindy 4th and 3 deep as they race onto the bend. Then Raise Sail, Travel Light, followed by Eau de Toile. Just Now pulled to the extreme outside. She's starting her run, and then Liz Bettina. Flattening for the run-in, 400 metres to go. Pretty as Paint the leader, 2 lengths in front of Travel Light, who's coming home solidly. Now Compton is winding her up on the outside. He's got his foot flat to the floor. She's coming out after them. Just Now, Travel Light the leader, 200 metres to go. Just Now's under the whip. She's struggling a little bit just now. It's Travel Light a half length in front of Just Now. Travel Light's got her beaten. It's Travel Light in front of Just Now as they go to the post, and Travel Light wins it by a length and a half. Travel Light first. Just Now.
Travel Light was undoubtedly one of the most consistent fillies to race during the season, campaigning in Sydney and Melbourne during the spring and Sydney and Queensland during the autumn. The win was a pleasant surprise for Sydney trainer Neville Begg, who'd won the race on 2 previous occasions.
Towards the end of the year is always the Goodwood Handicap Group 1 race worth $100,000 and decided over 1,200 metres at Morfettville. Although the Victorian sprinter Luther's Luck was a short-priced favourite, Lord Galaxy, who'd taken out the Mackay Stakes a week earlier, was sent out a solidly supported second favourite.
Group 1, 1,200 metres. They're off. Had a good start of the Goodwood with the exception of Game Set Match, who missed it badly. Testimony away quickly, so was Charfire on settling down, and bursting through is Aqualone and Cindy Harbour. Brinkman's getting right through on the rail, scraping the aluminium to go through and be a leader, and Beaumont Babe is forward, just in behind those Sell Hope. With those West Saint, one of the last with Gold Kildare, Forget About, Game Set Match before the turn. Testimony on the outside, and Beaumont Babe, the bonny mare, the rail. They draw out by 2.5, Cindy Harbour, followed by Sell Hope. On the rail is Aqualone. They were followed further back in the field then by Brinkman. Luther's Luck can't get through the pack. Around the outside, Lord Galaxy, and even wider West Mayo. Gold Kildare scraping the rail, and then Dowie in the straight. Testimony gets on terms now with Beaumont Babe. Aqualone joining in. Lord Galaxy late out wide on the track is running home hard. Here's a great go. Testimony the leader, but Lord Galaxy swamping it. Gold Kildare getting up on the rail, but Lord Galaxy draws clear in the Goodwood. Lord Galaxy is starting to run home hard and wins it a length and a half to Testimony. Third place.
Lord Galaxy was bred at Narung Stud, South Australia. He is owned by Melbourne businessman and successful racehorse breeder owner, Merv Brown.
At approximately the same time as Lord Galaxy was giving his rival sprinters a galloping, the South Australian Jockey Club's May meeting has improved enormously over the past few years, and undoubtedly this year's was their best ever. The Adelaide Cup, the richest race in South Australia, was one of the most interesting in years, with a host of quality stayers sent to Adelaide to contest it. The favourite was the 1985 Sydney Cup winner, Late Show.
And run down the side at the 1100 now, where it's Game Trooper the inside. D'Angelo is up 3 deep, and in the centre, Feederar. Butternut is 4 deep. They were followed then by Making Ground, Mr. Lamondi, with on the rail top banner between horses there too is Conceited Man, and so too is I'm a Red Man. They're packing right up now, and then further back with 800 to go. Making Ground is Late Show wide on the track. Mr. Jazz is there, dropping out. Game Trooper will run along last. He's beaten. Going through the field is Mint Master Hollinger to the outside. Fox Hill's only about 6 off the lead before the turn. Then Way and Rock back with a Y and Blue, Laylos and Surgerate, and Game Trooper. Something may have gone amiss with him. On the turn for home, Mr. Lamondi's gone up now to head feeder D'Angelo, Butternut, and here comes Late Show. 400 to go. The favourite Late Show is out after Mr. Lamondi. Mr. Lamondi took the shortcut, kicked 3 in front of Late Show, who's cutting him down. Then 4 lengths away, D'Angelo, followed further back by Mint Master. Late Show and Mr. Lamondi. Mr. Lamondi won't give in. Late Show can't get him at the moment. Mr. Lamondi is hanging on. Late Show's had his chance, and Mr. Lamondi and Bart Cummings, the Cup's king, he's prevailed again. Mr. Lamondi by a length and 3/4. Late Show, Fox Hill from last.
Mr. Lamondi was prepared in New Zealand by Noel Eales, but was transferred to the Bart Cummings stable, especially to be prepared for the Adelaide Cup. The gelding is yet another feature winner for the unraced vaguely noble stallion Noble Bijou, and it certainly won't be the last for the accomplished New Zealand jockey David Walsh.
For 2-year-olds of any importance are held at Eagle Farm in Brisbane. They are the Group 2 QTC Sires Produce Stakes over 1,400 metres and the Group 1 QTC Castlemaine Stakes over 1,600 metres. This year, the sires represented a classic Australian-New Zealand confrontation, with Melbourne trainer Jeff Murphy saddling up the exciting colt Tristram and Bruce Marsh from New Zealand preparing the sensational grey colt Mr. Shannon.
Coming down the side of the track, 750 metres to go. On Your Own is the leader. A neck in front, Triple Jump Ron second. A length away third, Christopher. Then 1 Guinea French Legion, Fair Sir. Followed then by Zephyr Cross, who's out a little bit wide but picking up ground. And so is Fafella. Over on the inside is Tristram. He's looking for the way clear. Mr. Shannon easing to the outside. And then Bogart's Kingdom and Adatari. They flatten for the run in. 400 metres to go. Triple Jump Ron loomed up on the outside of On Your Own. And 1 Guinea pounced on the pair of them. Fair Sir to the outside, starting a run, and then French Legion, Christopher Adatari behind them, and now Mr. Shannon has pulled to the extreme outside, and Tristram is trying to weave his way through the field. 1 Guinea's the leader, 100 metres to go. Here comes Mr. Shannon, Tristram bursting through on the inside. Mr. Shannon just in front of Tristram, they hit it. Mr. Shannon first. Mr. Shannon has beaten Tristram, Fair Sir, ahead away third.
There was plenty of controversy after the...
His rival sprinters a galloping lesson in Adelaide, 5-year-old stallion Daybreak Lover was doing his bit to remind the racing world that an odd distraction or 59 never did anyone any harm. Yes, 59, that's the number of mares Daybreak Lover covered during the 1985 season. And just when racegoers thought they'd seen the last of the 1984 Elders Handicap winner, he bounced back larger than life.
Lights are on, they're set, they're racing. Castanelia began quickly near the inside. Daybreak Lover got the best of it. He bounced in front. Fixed Flash is showing speed, and so too is Hassan-Dean in the early part. Castanelia is going to settle about fourth. Paris Beau, Ras Flyer, and now Kinmoss showing plenty of speed, and Satin Sand is handy. Eye of the Sky dropping back into about midfield. He's running about 8th on, settling down. Les's Choice next on the outside of Crawford, and then Gold or Me. Black Charleston's getting back worse than midfield, followed by Phoenix Rising, Blazing Cotton, and then Red Pete. A gap of 3 lengths to King Phoenix on the outside of Dinky Flyer. Courier Bay's well back second last, Nuclear Dream last. They head down the side, 750 to go, and it's Hassan-Dean the leader. He's a length in front. Fixed Flash running second. Paris Beau a half length away third. Daybreak Lover nice and handy in fourth place. Followed then by Castanelia on the inside. Satin Sand pushed along a little bit. Out Kinmoss, Ras Flyer next, and then Gold or Me. Les's Choice pulled to the outside, and then Black Charleston. King Phoenix back second last with Courier Bay. In the straight, 350 to go. Hassan-Dean just in front of Fixed Flash. He's got the run on the inside. And here comes Daybreak Lover. He's burst to the front on the outside. 200 metres to go. Daybreak Lover shot away. 2 lengths in front of Paris Beau, and then Fixed Flash further back, Gold or Me, and Eye of the Sky. It's Daybreak Lover nicely clear, close to home. He's going to win it. Daybreak Lover first. Daybreak Lover beat Gold.
That was a comeback that racegoers should applaud, because his owners took a huge gamble in returning the stallion to the track. Special mention must be given to the outstanding training of Danny Duke.
You would have been able to see why many people claimed Handy Proverb was unlucky not to have beaten Bone Crusher instead of running second to the great New Zealand gelding. After the Derby, Handy Proverb made processions of his next 3 group race appearances in the Ajc St Ledger, the Crest International Cup and the Grand Prix Stakes. The result was that Handy Proverb was sent out an odds-on favourite for the $150,000 QTC Queensland Derby.
Tierra Risk now second, Persian World third. Starting a run on the inside is Jewel Planet, Reputed going forward on the outside, and Handy Proverb is running fifth as they set sail for the judge.
In the Derby, you know, Jim rode him perfectly again, and you know, his time was indicative of how well he was going. He easily broke the race record and was 0.3 outside the course record.
200 metres to go. Cassidy pulls the whip on Handy Proverb and he's speared to the lead. Handy Proverb 2 lengths in front of Rising Fear and Reputed, and Handy Proverb is racing away to win the Derby. It's Handy Proverb first, second Rising Fear, third Reputed.
The Queensland Derby was Handy Proverb's 7th group win for the season and his 3rd classic. There was plenty of controversy after the sire's produce, with opinions divided as to whether Tristram or Shannon should have won. Tristram's trainer and jockey, Jeff Murphy and Gary Willits, both believed their colt should have won by 4 lengths. It was generally conceded that the Castlemaine Stakes, run over the Eagle Farm 1,600-metre circuit, would answer the question once and for all. It was a great race, but later on, the same question was still being asked.
750 metres out, 1 guinea, a half length in front. Atlantic Mission second, Jacaro third. Christopher placed fourth on the rails, 1 then to Zephyr Cross, followed by So Bonnie and Shock together, and then Gallery Level. Tristram picking up ground on the outside. Back on the rails is Adatari, and then Nippy Star, Maya Card, and Mr. Shannon last of all. Around the home turn, 450 metres to go. 1 guinea joined quickly by Atlantic Mission in the centre and Jacaro on the outside. Zephyr Cross now popped the big question. Christopher trying to work his way into the clear. So Bonnie down the outside. Here's Tristram winding up. Further back came Mr. Shannon, and Maya Card pulled to the extreme outside. 150 to go. 1 guinea fought on just in front of Atlantic Mission. Gallery Level on the outside with Tristram. 1 guinea in front. He's a length clear. Gallery Level and Tristram flying at the end. 1 guinea just in front. They hit it. 1 guinea. 1 guinea, I think, has just beaten Gallery Level, but there's not much in it. Mr. Shannon.
1 guinea is by the Sovereign Path horse £1 sterling, whose other group winners include Mr. Ironclad, Old Currency, and of course the champion Mr. McGinty. Big performance of Fox Seal in the Adelaide Cup. After that event, trainer Rick Hall-Lacey decided to take the gelding to Queensland for the Brisbane Cup, a race he'd won so decisively in 1985. In the Wait for Age O'Shea Stakes 9 days before the Cup, the 3-year-old Rising Prince led throughout to defeat South of Belmont and Fox Seal. Those 3 dominated the betting in Queensland's most important staying event.
Back third last, second last New Year. Fox Seal still last, still 15 lengths from the leader. 800 metres to go. Rising Fear the outside just in front of Atropar. He pulls the whip now on Atropar. He's going with Rising Fear, but Rising Fear still seems to be travelling pretty well. They're 3 lengths in front of Rose and Thistle under a bit of pressure. Lalos is running on gamely on the outside, now moving into third spot. South of Belmont starting his run, then Lord Dancer. Make Me Famous in the centre. Further back came Poachinella, and Fox Seal is still back last. In the straight, he goes for home now on Rising Fear. He booted away. It's Rising Fear 2 lengths in front. Marlin out of the pack is after the leader. Then Lalos south of Belmont on Chanteur and Fox Seal. 200 metres to go. Marlin loomed up on the outside, ran to the lead from Rising Fear. Fox Seal is rattling home now. It's Marlin in front. Fox Seal is making ground on him quickly. He's flying home, Fox Seal. Marlin and Fox Seal, they hit it. Gee, it's close. Maybe Marlin, but Fox Seal...
Winning both the Adelaide and Brisbane Cups in the space of 3 weeks really catapulted jockey David Walsh into the limelight. It soon became known that Perth merchant banker Laurie Connell had offered Walsh the job of being his stable rider in Perth, and that the well-spoken Walsh would accept the offer. Marlon was prepared by Bruce Marsh, a successful trainer but still best remembered in Australia as the rider of Silver Knight in the 1971 Melbourne Cup.
Between ourselves racing through
a month after the Elders, Daybreak Lover was scheduled to have his final start in the Group 1 Rothmans 100,000 at Doomben. Danny Duke declared the stallion unbeatable if he drew a barrier, and to his amazement, Daybreak Lover was allotted one of the outside marbles. That outside gate at the 1350-metre start at Doomben has stopped many a good horse before Daybreak Lover, so punters couldn't be blamed for shying away from the horse. Instead, they latched onto the Victorian 3-year-old Between Ourselves, prepared declared by Cyril Beachy.
Second place, a half length away third between ourselves, and then Ras Flyer up on the outside. Pico is still out very wide. Black Charleston Concrete, Pete's Choice, followed by Rhodey Rouge, and then Fixed Flash, High Signal, Bank Coin. Phoenix Rising is still well back as they race to the home turn with Gold or Me straightening up, just short of 400 metres to go. Let me tell the leader, 3 lengths in front. Between ourselves up into second place on the outside of Daybreak Lover, followed by Concrete, Ras Flyer and Fixed Flash to the outside. Here comes Between Ourselves with a great run on the outside. He loomed up, he ran to the lead. He raced straight past Let Me Tell It. He is home and hosed. He's clear close to the line. Between Ourselves, Daybreak Lover into second place, and then Let Me Tell and Concrete. But that's a great performance by...
Between Ourselves is the 7th stakes winner for this season and the 14th overall for the outstanding stallion Twig Moss. And it boosted Twig Moss's earnings for the season to $1.5 million. After the race, trainer Cyril Beachy declared Between Ourselves the most exciting galloper he'd handled since the devastating Gay Icarus, Australia's Horse of the Year in 1971. The final Group 1 race in Australasia for the season is the 4X Cup, a race which was formerly known as the Doomben Cup until the welcomed sponsorship of Queensland's leading brewery. After an outstanding win at Doomben the week before the Cup, Laurie Connell's outstanding staying prospect Restoration was regarded as the one to beat.
And Fox Seal is last of all, 20 lengths from the leader. 800 metres to go. Top Banner, 1 in front. Hassendine second. Les's Choice is a length away third. Then Dare to Be Grand, followed by Prince Bourbon, Gold or Me and High Geeta. Restoration going forward on the outside. Then Page Boy, Travel Light, followed by Phoenix Rising. Rose and Thistle continuing that run around the field, and then a Home Office. Dinky Flyer now starting her burst, but giving the leaders a long start. Then Eye of the Sky, Fox Seal starting to pick up ground. Sabre Tail, Exocet and Jiff straightening up, and Les's Choice has raced past the leaders. It's Les's Choice kicking away 2 lengths in front of Top Banner. Dare to Be Grand on the outside. Here comes Restoration with a great run. Then Prince Bourbon, Gold or Me and Phoenix Rising. Les's Choice is clear with 100 metres to go. Restoration is coming out after him. Les's Choice in front. Restoration is swamping him at the end. Les's Choice and Restoration, they hit it. It's close. Very close. Restoration flew the line.
It was undoubtedly the dashing ride of Carl Simons that won the race for Les's Choice. But having said that, there's not a doubt in the world that Restoration should have won. The New Zealand-bred gelding was trapped at least 3 wide throughout after starting from the outside barrier and was still able to finish brilliantly over the final 200 metres. It seems highly likely that we'll be showing you some Group 1 footage of Restoration in next year's edition of the Bill Collins Australasian Racing Year.
Of the Sydney racing season.
I think the sequence of wins by Bounding Away was phenomenal, and there's no question in my mind that she is a worthy Horse of the Year. But the most graphic single memory simply has to be Bone Crusher's win in the Tancred Stakes, coming from last on the home turn. I still think it was amongst the finest individual performances I've seen in my career as a racing commentator.
Ian, Tristark and Bone Crusher were Australasia's most successful racehorses for the season, with 4 Group 1 victories each. Special mention must go to Bounding Away for a series of 7 wins from 8 starts, including 3 Group 1s, and to Handy Proverb, who won 7 group races for the season, including 2 Group 1s and 3 Classics. Yes, it was a great season.